Hello and happy Sunday evening. Welcome to Favored Allies. I really did just almost click the stop streaming instead of transition button, so that was cool. When we last left our party, Embers Only, they had just wrapped up a little bit of a mission for Mama, handling her family situation, her husband Thorn being laid to rest in the new memory grove, Thorn's Rest. Appropriately named, with some new protections over it. Hopefully, soon, someday, to be a shared memory grove with more trees and more of a history of the elves to be built. Having taken care of this and headed back up to Bastion, where the looming ascension is about 2 weeks away at this point, there is a bunch of small performer groups, circuses, that have appeared saying that they've been paid by the crest to come and set up and take residence and perform for free for the people of Bastion. There's an uneasy air around the guards and around the folks nearby, as this doesn't seem to have been sanctioned. And the Alar ran into an old acquaintance, we'll say. The party has set up in Derek's mother's old house, Derek's old house, finding that all of the goblins have moved out of the neighborhood and taken a whole bunch of things, clay and stone and some wood pieces, metal, with them. But having discovered some of the strange things going on, the party has settled in for the evening in this home in preparation for figuring out what is going on as you attempt to survive and protect others until and hopefully beyond the ascension. Before we get started, being as we have just closed out this little arc around Mama and the things that you had going on, I do want to just do a few quick rolls, one roll for each person, for some little vignettes of things that are happening as the world continues to turn around you. Uh, I've got one for each of you. Who wants to go first?
Ooh, I'll go. What is it?
All right, roll me a d20.
D20.
Just so that you know, this is going to be, each of these vignettes is about a person or a small group. If you roll higher, that'll be better for the person or small group. Maybe for you, who knows? And lower will be bad for them. So go ahead and give
I'm
me a d20
scared.
roll.
Oh, okay. Mm, 13.
13. Far from the north. Somewhere down in or near 10-Day Bog. It's a little hard to tell. There's a few rolling hills that rise up out of the bog with a few trees and some small structures that have been built. Um, Heading to and fro are a number of tieflings exclusively. Um, and you can see kind of coming up towards this hill and these tieflings is a large tortoise, drawing behind it some small rafts and boats through the marshlands. A bunch of people, small houses on top of the tortoise, and yet some others on a horseback, kind of riding nearby. Um, and we cut to one of the tieflings sitting, stroking a small beard, a pair of horns coming back and curved almost as though ibex horns. Um, Looks with unease as another tiefling comes and approaches. Virtue, what's... Have you decided? The tiefling turns to the first tiefling turns to the other. Yes, they can stay. They can they can stay in Arvindor for as long as seems appropriate. This is They've been accepted. We will extend our place for them. Keep an eye on them. Keep them separated. I don't trust them yet.
Interesting.
All right, who wants to roll next?
I will.
All right, Mama.
18.
18. Somewhere in a marshland, colder, somewhere north, some pine trees kind of dotting the edge of this fen. We see an older woman, Elvin. Similar in size, shape to Mama, actually. Walking along by herself, looking around. Where's this damn kid? And you hear another voice, a woman's voice, Elvin again, in the back. Auntie Fern, don't wander off like that. I don't know why you need to see this grave so bad. You and Olive aren't even that close. And these two just continue trudging eastward through the marsh. Who wants to roll next?
I can go.
All right, roll it.
7.
In a dark cavern, there's a young female elf in a cage. She wears a silver robe, matching her silvered eyes, and she's staring intently at a box maybe 10 feet from her, well out of her reach, knowing the things that she needs lie within. A drow approaches. We know you're a daughter of Talia. Do not fear that we might torture you. Know that Kalon Kakon will find out what you know of the workings of the Lady Ichir.
What was that last bit? The Lady of Kashir?
The Lady Ichir. All right. Patty, you want to give us a roll?
Sure, but I'm only allowed raspberry vignettes after my ulcer surgery. High fives, fiddlesticks.
Hello, Kitty.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
We're gonna roll. What do we get, fiddlesticks? We got a 13 as well. Come here, baby.
Aww.
A deep voice speaks in Orcish. What weighs on you, Lord Tarjkin? And another orc, standing proud, shining armor, looking over his port from his high seat at the edge of the wall of the castle, gazing out at the ocean port far to the south of the Forgotten Crescent. Ropetail and his family have been missing since the fire. And they've always been amenable to our agreement. They follow the law of the accursed blood. It would be deeply saddening if they were found dead. But to be missing entirely, each day, each week that goes by, I am more troubled by what this could mean.
You said Tarjkin?
Tarjkin.
I gotta write that down, fiddlesticks.
Lord Tarjkin.
Currently being groomed.
Is that... Have we heard of a Broketail before?
I think it's Ropetail.
Ropetail. You have
Ropetail.
not.
Okay, cool. I was like, it sounds vaguely familiar.
And I need a roll from you, Colin, and I will let you know. You have a few people that you know out and about.
I know.
So,
I really want this to roll low and be Gregor.
I'm not going to tell you who it is, but
No,
you do
I know.
know that like rolling very low would be very bad for them, and rolling very high could be very good for them. And
Or bad for me.
Well,
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
that's the thing. If it's my sister, I want it high. If it's Gregor, I want it low. 8.
in another marsh, there's a single figure being drawn, wearing a cloak, arms bound, being pulled behind another figure on a horse. We zoom out to see this is a small contingent, maybe 4 horsemen. Each of them elves, their hoods down, their cloaks about them, but the cloaks barely hide the well polished and well made armor that they wear below. Um, what did you say that was? 8? All right. Um, being pulled along by the horse, this figure in the cloak starts shouting, "Hey, did Schmitty send you? Yeah, I mean it's fine if you keep the report then. Uh, can't help but notice all you elves have weapons and such. Don't suppose that a couple of you might be willing to escort me back to Loop?" Uh, and the one pulling him behind turns to the one next to him. "I've been looking through the report. I don't understand. Some of it is encoded in a way that I'm not familiar with. Uh, Certainly, I'm missing some things, but the last section it just blatantly says to kill this man, and so there's something here that I'm not getting. There's something important about this guy.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
so we'll bring him back to camp, and we'll get word from the guild as to what we should be doing." And
Damn
all
it.
of you rise with the sun as the next day starts, and your opportunities to look into the happenings around Bastion begin in earnest.
Well, I think we wanted to get in and confirm, like, basically what we feel that this was not authorized by the Crasts and
Yeah.
get the heads up from, like, people who are in the authority. Like, what are they going to do about this? Like, obviously in flux.
Hazel, could I impose on you to do detect magic?
Uh, Let me see if I got it prepared. You got to talk to me about these things before.
Gotcha. Sorry.
I
Uh,
recommend triplicate.
well, that's a good idea.
Work orders.
I can cast it as a ritual.
Right. I forgot you can do that now too.
Well, that's fine.
Would you
What
be
are
able to?
you? Yeah, sure. What are you? Are you concerned
I'm
about something
concerned of
here?
eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the 10
I
minutes.
I
Oh, unless.
can too. I'd forgotten.
Okay.
Sorry. Feature of being old.
Oh, good.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I have to take 10 minutes to do it, and if
So
we're
do I.
ahead and
I can just cast it.
Oh, 10 minutes is fine. Like we make food, eat. We got stuff to do anyway. So
Well, I'll cook if you want to cast.
You talking to me or Tosha?
Tosha.
well, I was also gonna say I could instead, Derek, if you want to cast it, I could also cast the tiny hut so that we're protected for the night if that's
What's wrong with my
something
tiny
that
hut?
we want to do.
I grew up in this tiny hut.
I start casting ritually.
Jesus.
My wife's
Uh,
buried in the backyard of this tiny hut.
What?
everybody looks over at Derek.
Well, I was gonna say, why do you think I was so moved by the? I'm sorry. Why do you think I was so moved by the most recent events that passed? I too once had a wife. Well, unfortunately, it didn't work out to what I wanted. I could tell from the get go that she was really hung up on her ex. It was kind of an arranged marriage. But I
Oh,
was the bigger person, and I ended up letting be with him.
so
And
And
death?
well, we when she woke up, you know, next to him about 6 feet down, 3 feet that way, I could hear her like screams of happiness for at least 30 minutes. So I imagine they went right down to it.
Can I roll an insight check just to see if Derek is full of shit? Because like there's so many stories that come from him, and I don't know if this is true
We
or
can
if
dig
it's
her
just a
up if you
joke.
want. I was the bigger person.
You're something.
well, you were
Now
above
they can be
ground at
together
least.
forever.
All right. Well, I finished casting detect magic. I imagine.
Yes.
What do I see?
I'm sorry, what are you looking for?
Magic.
I'm mostly concerned about like scrying or any kind of spell that would be like listening into us. Just because I don't entirely know what my old contact's abilities might entail or what he could pay for. So,
That makes sense. I look for what he said.
or on the off chance, Mama Crast is keeping eyes on us too.
Um,
Well, let's be real clear. I'm the only mama here.
Fair enough.
you do, as you're doing a sweep, you see a small glow just above and in front of Antosha. Reads as divination magic.
So I shared that. That's all I see.
Nate, I don't know how you are gonna rule this. I think it works this way. If Tosha does the tiny hut and we go into the tiny hut, it can't follow, right? Because the tiny
Right,
hut keeps
because
out all magic.
magic can't pass through it. Yes.
All right, I'll do the tiny hut within Derek's tiny hut if possible.
Hutception.
Yeah, hutception.
Huts and huts and huts. Is it gonna break my
Huts and
mom's heart?
huts.
And yeah, I guess I'll color it to like kind of blend in, but I'm not really trying to like hide it per se. And then yeah, step inside and kind of motion for everyone else to, of course, putting it so that everyone in this group can enter, exit at will, and no one else.
And
Without alerting me. Yeah.
and Mama, maybe like 2 minutes into Tosha's casting, the little bauble like disappears.
Well, it seems to be gone.
Well, I think we'll be safe from its gaze as long as we stay in the hut for now. When we're trying to talk about anything,
Yeah.
we don't want others to hear. I have a bit of a plan that I want to run by you all for how to move forward with this. I think first, I want to go report to Kamishava, and specifically, like Callie was saying, just ask her what she knows about the circus, if she hired them. If she says yes, then that might be a good indication that she's the one who's hired this assassin. And if not, then it might be the doings of someone else. And also I was gonna tell her about Big Gut and this plan that Derek overheard as well.
I don't remember. Do you have a reply from the saloon church to the letter that Kamishava sent? Was that sent back with us, or was it just like received?
It was just, if I recall, it was just a verbal message that Mother Corin had given to me before she
Gotcha.
dissipated, I guess. Just that basically like we support, however we can help or be ally. It kind of was a generic response from what I remember. So I don't think there was anything huge there. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell her that as well. And then I wanted to send messages to try to meet up with some people I'm hoping we might be able to get to help us. Namely Olena, Ramanari, and the former brides. And then I also want to try to find the alarm spell, just because I think that might also help keep us safe during this time, and see if I can transcribe that. And then I think after that, what I'd like to try is to send out some kind of notice or decree to all the candidates for the bride to come and meet. And I don't know, DM, if there's like a kind of great hall or like some kind of like large open space where I'd be able to kind of call everyone together that would make sense. But essentially what I want to propose is to tell them that there's at least, one assassin that we know of that's targeting some candidates, that we know that there's been like treachery in the past between candidates and, people killing each other before the ceremony can even begin. And that, I think we should stop that now, look out for each other. If we all stay in one place, it'll be harder for us to be picked off one by one. We can set up some system for checking food and water for poison. And so from there on, I want to camp out, within this hall or like large space and just try to stay all together as a group. That way, I think we'll have more people to fight if assassins do come in. And if there is treachery amongst the group, hopefully it'll be easier to identify and root it out. And we'll have the hut to stay in to protect us as well. So that was kind of what I was thinking, to get everything out in the open and at least, give people a heads up if they're to protect themselves if they don't want to stay with us, or to have strength in numbers if we do stay together.
Well, you need to remember, I can detect thoughts now. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you need a mama on, call to make sure that I'm listening to what people are thinking. But I'm happy to do that, and in whatever form I take. Although I prefer not being an insect anymore. It's not as pleasant as being the cat.
That makes sense. And I do want to say, I know it will be dangerous to be there potentially, so I don't blame any of you if you don't want to, camp out with me in the hall. It's just something I feel I need to do. And
I
if
might have to lift
anyone
the
wants
shit
to
out of that hall.
be on the outside, doing other things while I'm doing that, of course I would welcome all of you to stay and help as well, but I don't want anyone to feel like they need to risk that if they have other ways they think they'd be able to better help in the city. But yeah, Mama, I would welcome your help with detecting thoughts for sure.
You all fought a banshee and a walking tree that throws lightning for my husband and my people. So, I mean, my God, what's a little camp out?
That is a perfectly good plan to protect everything that you care about. The problem is that the only person who knows who that guy is, the only person who likely could have told you that there was an assassin here, is me. And he knows I saw him. Which means that if we do this and he decides this job is forfeit or succeeds somehow or fails, survives, whatever, when this is done, if he feels like it and he wants to get back at me, my family's forfeit.
I could keep it vague and just say there's danger or those who would wish harm upon people. I mean, I kind of question that this person we know about is the only assassin.
I
It
don't
seems like,
necessarily think it is either. I'm just concerned about him.
well, is there a different way that I could put people on alert without revealing your conversation with that
there's
partner?
not a perfect solution. The problem is that, and I was awake all night. I feel like I've had 3 weeks to think about this. I Option 1 is we do nothing, which you're never going to want to do. Option 2, and this would have been better to do yesterday, is we immediately go back, we arrest him under whatever authority you have as a high priest, and then, oops, he dies in the process. Oh no, he resisted arrest. Maybe he actually resists and we actually have an excuse to do it, or, things happen. Option 3 is we somehow lay a trap.
Ooh, could put a glyph in the toilet.
Okay, yes. Other people use toilets, right?
Well, I can do it multiple times.
Okay, yeah, we trap all the toilets.
I've also got clairvoyance. I could just have the little spy, moment where I'm sitting in there very Hitman, right? No, not that one. Don't let the glyph off.
Nate, you can pick the type of creature, right? So you can just say this glyph only goes off for assassins, so it only will explode if an assassin sits on the toilet. That's how that works.
Wait, you get to set the
I don't think you're gonna be that specific.
The trigger.
Well, the arresting, if I talk to Kamishava and she's had nothing to do with this circus, then that could still be an option.
That's pretty suspicious.
Because I'm sure she would support us, getting rid of them if it's not her doing. If it is her doing, I think it's going to be more challenging. But I could certainly, there are others that we could try to speak to amongst the Ashen Elders. The High Purifier who leads the Pale Ritualists is a cousin of mine, who I trust to some level, so I could talk to Boz about that. The head of the military is Olena's father. So I don't necessarily trust his motives. He also is someone who could have hired this assassin, but if Kamishava did it, then it's likely that, Iced would want to oppose that, so could potentially be an enemy of my enemy type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be hard to tell until we can ascertain more about who might have hired this person.
Fair.
Otherwise,
Can we offer the assassin more money than they were paid?
Yeah, it's bad practice to start doing that a lot because then people don't hire you in the first place.
Well, but
You
if
can try
you're
to get
rich,
away with
we
it,
can just
but-
retire.
You already had that opportunity.
If we can't tip our hand about the assassination, could we not use the unrest of Big Gut and his people for extra cause for security for the chosen candidates?
It's a good idea. My concern with the assassination stuff is just that he saw us. So he saw me with you. But no, yeah, Big Gut is an option. You can also, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, this has happened before. The poisonings or attempts on other people's lives. Like, the idea of just having everything out in the open is not beyond the pale. So.
Yeah, I don't want to put your family in danger, so I didn't want to say anything, look out for specifically anything identifying that person, but this has been known to happen, and I don't think that's a secret among the Hive families.
I'm good with the compromise of let's try to warn people of danger, get people together, and then go on the attack as best as possible, if at all doable. So that works for me.
Yeah, and if anything, we know where this individual is right now, and they maybe.
Yeah.
So provided they, aren't alarmed by anything immediately and trying to disappear somewhere, we should be able to find them.
Wait, as in we know that when you say we know where they are, we don't know their exact location, do we?
They were running one of the stalls in the circus area.
Yeah, we know their cover is being part of this circus, so until they break that, presumably they'll be there.
Hey, Nate, this character was someone who had like a storied, or at least not if not like hyper famous or something. Like this was a known quantity. Like this is someone who like in the right circles was known of.
Yes.
Do you want
This is someone that nobles in particular, or people adjacent to nobles in the South, would have heard of, sometimes spoken of as the boogeyman, sometimes jokingly or maybe not so jokingly described as a solution to problems.
Yeah. Um, some of it's probably exaggerated, but would I have any idea of like other abilities that this person has demonstrated in the past? At least from rumor.
From, you know what? Give me a history check. We'll see. We'll see how specific the rumors are that you've heard.
It's a 14 on the die for 19 now.
Okay then. Yeah, I mean, by and large, the rumors are mostly that he is like a snake in the reeds, like someone that you, if you're not looking for him, he'll show up at the least convenient, last possible moment, strike, and then be gone before anybody knows any better. That's kind of what he's known for. As far as whether he, for example, takes on disguises or just is hidden, like there's been speculation that he could go and turn invisible. There's speculation that he could put on very, very good disguises. There's been speculation that he just is a spirit and can pass through walls. So like it's
Too
especially
much rumor to know the
yeah,
truth.
yeah.
Okay.
Between your adjacency to nobles and what the actual guard or your order have talked about, it's really hard to separate like legend from fact.
I know he's weak to fall damage.
You are aware that he's probably not a spirit because he can take fall damage.
Nice.
That's one thing I know for sure. Okay. What do you want for talking to Kamishava? I don't know if you think. I mean, last time she only wanted to talk to you, right?
Yeah, I was thinking again, she's not the easiest person to be around, so I wouldn't put this on anyone except me. But I was thinking if she has any questions about big guts and what that looks like, Derek, you might be able to provide more detail than what I could provide. She's probably going to discount it. So I think, you know, anything to try to make her take it more seriously, that we know of would be helpful, but I can't control how she's going to feel about it ultimately.
How much of a threat
Um,
actually is Big Gut?
Well, if he's got every single goblin in like the goblin in ghetto, if you will, he's got an army. He likes to eat people. Where does that range on your threat level?
I don't. How
That
I
big
mean,
an
sounds
he's as
army?
pretty high
dangerous
to
as
me.
your
That's not good.
assassin, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I
Your
don't know
assassin,
how.
I don't understand why we don't just like kill him. That seems like the most practical
I'm with you.
series of
I think the
solutions.
plan is just to kill him. We just gotta.
Well, let's go.
Yeah.
There's 5 of us. One of him.
Threat level goblin.
Or I tell you what, we can knock him out. We don't have to kill him. We
No,
can
we can kill
say
him.
we're there on Tosha's business. Well, then I can like bane and command him to spill his guts on who sent him.
Yeah, we could try.
You don't have to torture people if they,
Yeah,
fail a
torture doesn't
DC
work.
15 wisdom save.
Torture doesn't work. So
I mean, if their mind is weak compared to that of mine, and then a spring like flies out of the thing I'm tinkering with,
yeah,
and that's supposed to do that.
there are things we could do.
My
Yeah.
only other thought was Mama, perhaps
Mhm.
to detect thoughts on Kamishava when I ask about
Mm.
the circus in the event that she lies. Although she's not she's not she can be hard to read, so that might be helpful just because I don't always know what is going on with her. Politics, not my forte.
Well, I mean, I'm here for whatever.
Stall
I
the
don't
cat.
think she'll like me much.
Go do that weird, like, stretchy thing that cats do on the tops of awnings and just hang out on top of his little booth all day.
I could always do that.
How about this? Derek and I need to see Datir. Was that his name?
I need my other booklet.
The blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yep.
We need to go see Datir anyway. If you go talk to Kamishava, we could go check on Datir, see how that's going. We know that they had research that we had requested from the library as well. We can gather that stuff maybe while you're talking to Kamishava. We can come back, and then we can kill an or catch an assassin. Just be brazen about it.
I mean, if you are all splitting up like that, I could just keep an eye on him and track him if he moves. I mean, he is at a stall after all, public place.
My concern is that he probably saw you because we were all together.
Yeah, but it's a whole fair affair, right?
I'd rather send the one that can turn into a cat, because he doesn't know that we have.
He doesn't know we have a cat. You're stealthy though, and I don't want to make light of that. If you think you could keep out of his sight, then
Yeah,
whatever you think is best.
I reckon I could try.
If you'd like, I could try to get you access to, like, the circus is outside the walls right now, correct? Or outside, like, kind of the gate. And if I recall, there's kind of like two, like, watchtowers higher up.
There are. It's outside of lower, or it's outside of outer bastion. So there's the gate. There's like a half mile of houses and other small structures, and then past that, getting out into the open plain is where the circuses are set up. So someone who is eagle-eyed, like Mama or Callie, might be able to keep an eye on him from a watchtower. But you're talking about watching somebody from half a mile away or further.
Got you, so it might be too far. All right, well, if that is something that you would find useful, Callie, let me know, and I can try to see if I can get you access into a watchtower.
I mean, I can always fall back there if I feel like he thinks I'm around too much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I could use like a cloak that's more common to this area. Mine's a little woodsy, we'll say.
How different do you want to look?
Not super different because I can kind of blend in, and I'll use my wood elf ability to sort of like naturally blend in. But I figure if I can switch in and out of a cloak, then I look more like everybody else rather than me. So
Can I go into my like bag of costume bullshit and start like pulling out, like, all right, here's we got like this nice reversible thingamajig and distressed the outside, so it's all looking like good, like it'd be like a normal person from Bastion kind of thing.
Yeah, you have like a fairly light but simple gray cloak that looks pretty similar to what a lot of folks here wear. And especially, yeah, Callie, like especially if you're walking through crowds or among groups of people, using your Mask of the Wild as if you're lightly obscured, like you can sort of like Assassin's Creed it and just sort of join a group of people walking.
yeah, I like that cloak. That would be very handy.
Hmm.
I can switch them in and out, flip them in and out. Thanks.
It really suits you too.
Well, before I did well, I might have been a bit of a ne'er do well. So,
If you will let me, what I would like to also do is just like nothing super intrusive, but like wrap the end of your sword or like the pommel or the center wherever it had like a symbol on it. Basically just trying to be like, all right, we're going to alter your silhouette a little bit. So if he sees you from a distance, it doesn't ring like, oh, that ranger. That kind of thing. Like really basic stuff. I'm not trying to do like a whole thing, but like just make you look a little bit different.
Yeah, sure. Have at it. That's not
Okay.
my expertise per se.
All right. Go
I
ahead
roll up the
and
sword. No, it's gonna get dressed up.
You're going to get a sweater, buddy.
and all of this means, Callie, when you go to stealth while you're doing that, we're going to count this as you having been helped with the help action is going to be what Colin's support there is going to do.
Yay! Thank you.
Since it sounds like we took a rest last night, can I have made another costume over the course of that long rest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clown time.
No, I don't want to go clown, but I do have an idea. Okay. That's I'm good with that. That's going to be a 21 and I'm going to save that for some time. I have an old man outfit.
Excellent.
Yes.
One last question before we head out. Do we want to plan to come back here to Derek's house to stay until we move to kind of the staying in the big group with everyone? I'm fine with it. I just know I could get us rooms in Upper Bastion again if we wanted them. And also I'll be pretty people will know that I'm here.
Yep.
If I go up to see Kamishava. And I know it's not common for someone to
You hear a knocking at the door while you're having this conversation.
Outside Tiny Hut.
Followed by a brief in the name of the bride, release the high priest.
I'm going to step out of the tiny hut
And it goes away.
and open the door and say, what's the meaning of this? I have not been taken anywhere. I'm right here and fine, as you can well see.
You see two pale ritualists kind of standing partially at ready, one of them with a hand glowing, like ready for whatever comes out the door. And they briefly stand at ease. The bride has sent for you.
All right. I was just going to come give my report to her myself. Shall we go?
Yes.
I lean over to Callie and loudly whisper, now that's mama energy.
Yeah. It's aggressive babysitting. It's wow.
All right. Well, that tells us who was scrying.
As you start walking through, towards the gate, you hear a couple of the commoners. One of them going, "I told you it was the high priest."
Yeah,
You are highly noticeable.
Yeah. Real quick, DM, can we say in the morning while we were doing all that stuff that I cast the ritual for Marana to be with me?
Did you lose her at any point?
No, does it just stay if
It
she
just
wasn't
stays.
lost? Okay, great. Yeah, no, she wasn't lost at any point. I didn't dismiss her, so cool. She's still with me.
You can also
actually...
pocket her in and out from the other realm as long as she doesn't die. You can like send her back to like what is it, like the ether, and then just summon back for free as long as it's not dead.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. Sorry. New familiar.
Love familiars.
So hypothetically, I could eat it. And you could just
and get no
resummon
nourishment,
a new one.
but yes.
I think the moment that you bite into it, it goes away.
But you can just summon a new one for free.
Nope, it costs.
We have so much stuff.
It costs.
It's like 100 gold or something.
I think 10 gold.
10, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
The bird costs more than the dragon to summon.
Yes.
Correct.
Why won't you let it die? It is so much of this shit would be easier if you didn't treat it like a goddamn cat.
Do you really want to be using something that is potentially the god of destruction?
I'm sorry, if
As
there's
a
an assassin
canary?
after someone and you want to fucking throw a dragon at it, yes, short answer.
I mean, I do
Don't
want to throw a
fuck with us.
dragon
We
at
have
it,
a
but
dragon. Look, I'm the dragon slayer. I rip its goddamn head off. Nobody's hurt because it just comes back to life whenever
He's
she
hurt.
wants it to.
He's hurt.
okay. So Patty's seen Dragonheart since the last game that we played. In the meantime,
That movie sucks.
It
it's
does.
very campy.
It made me
does.
cry when I was 9 and made me throw up when I was 13.
I'm assuming that the rest of us are not like following behind the Tosha train at this point.
I mean, do what you will. I need to go speak with Kamishava.
I think
Did you
Mama was
want
gonna
me to
win.
come?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
I think it could be useful, but if you had other business.
Well, hell, I don't care. All right, here we go.
All right. Yeah, I'll head up, and then as we approach the gates, I would like to either send one of the what are they called again? One of the pale ritualists up to the tower to give this message, or if there's like another guard or someone below, I'm just going to say, there's someone on the high priest's business who may need access to this tower in the next couple hours. I'll give a description of Callie in her current garb, and just say, please let her up should she have need.
And the guards there, one of them turns to you. Well, my shift just started. I'll keep an eye out for her. The Pale Ritualists make it clear that they are not to leave your side, as it has been made clear to them.
Fine. Great. With that, I'll continue on with Mama, and then, yeah, anyone else who wants to come. Otherwise, heading to Kamishava.
So when we get into the castle, like the close to the floor, I'm gonna request to go to the ladies' room or the privy so that I can cast my spell.
All right. We'll get there. If you recall, it is like a 4-hour trek from this front gate to the Upper Bastion Church. So you two, accompanied by your Pale Ritualist friends, are heading up. What's everybody else up to in this time?
I don't think we're going to go see a what's it, right? A Smith.
If you're going to see Datir, he is also in Upper Bastion, so you've got the same 4-hour trek.
No.
Fair enough.
So
When we
you'll
leave
follow
it-
behind.
Can we leave an hour later?
Sure.
Great. I'm gonna just lock up the house and spend an hour casting a glyph on the inside of the door frame. Just set the alarm before we go. And obviously I point this out to my party members that aren't Tosha and Mama because they're not here.
Because I vaguely remember how glyph warding works. Are we safe to go over it?
No.
Fair. All right.
It's
Somebody's
extremely
looting my
secure.
mama's house.
No. I was just curious.
Derek's like, it's
Let's see if we
extremely
can.
secure. No one can cross it.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
even me.
Well, and I figured with all of the information they've given us about being scryed and everything like that, they might come in here to like search for clues about ourselves or whatever.
Cool.
And if there's bits of them when we come back, we'll know who did it.
I'll police the area on our way out and just try to make sure that it's like we didn't leave anything behind that would be potentially interesting, and maybe just leave some like little random lies somewhere around the place just to fuck with people. Like double the number of footprints, make it look like there were double the number of people in here.
All right.
There's already a lot
I
of us
guess-
in a very small house.
I guess
so.
give me a stealth check.
20 dirty.
All right.
I'm sorry, that can't be right. I just cast Glyph of Warding on D&D Beyond to make it like, check the box that I've used a 3rd level spell,
Mm.
and I didn't realize that would cast it. There's no way that spell does 116 damage.
I mean, if you only rolled max, maybe, but that doesn't seem correct.
That doesn't seem right at all.
That
right?
seems incorrect for a 3rd level spell.
I mean, that'd be amazing, but
Explosive runes at most does 5d8, so no.
I think D&D Beyond have their spell wrong. I think it does 5d8 for each of the possible types, and then sums them.
I think you're right. I think that's what it did.
That's
Way
fantastic.
to go, D&D Beyond.
That's so good. Rather than just being like,
it's rules as written. Rules as
Nice.
written. It blows up the house. Best alarm ever.
we're up an upper bastion. There's just a pillar of light that ascends into the sky. The entire circus is wiped clean.
Oh boy.
2 birds, 1 very large mushroom cloud.
We're just over there going, I think that's a bad omen.
Guys, I discovered a 10th level spell.
There has to be like, I know 5th edition doesn't do this, but boy, would it be funny if you could have like all the feats. You do the locate city bomb thing with Glyph of Warding.
All right. So, Callie, let's hit you first because you're chronologically going to be the one doing stuff first.
Yay. Okay.
Go ahead and give me your stealth check as you're sort of making your way over into and around the circus.
Okie dokie. Stealth check. Go to my character sheet. +9. Oh, you said I have advantage because of my stuff?
Yep, you have advantage because you got the help action.
Okie dokie. A
thunder
die at 20 total.
All right. Yeah, so you are making your way around kind of among the people. As much as the guards and folks were trying to keep people away yesterday, it just has not held. There's too many people, too interested. And so while the circuses are still setting up, it looks like it'll probably take another day or two. They have come kind of in full bear, just huge setups. But yeah, you do see there's a couple of the small stands have started setting up and giving out toys or small snacks or things like that. But besides that, the bigger pieces are still to be set up. Are you you're looking to keep an eye on your gnomish friend?
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me a perception check as well.
Okie dokie. Incoming. That's another dirty 20.
All right. With the dirty 20, you kind of make your way over by the trade winds setup, where there's kind of an argument between a guard and an elf in... Well, you would look at him and you know he didn't come from the swamp. He has highly ruffled undershirt that sticks out both like the top like a big and like a big cravat, a doublet that looks like it's made out of very fine and very heavy cloth. Boots that look like you've never seen leather made this soft. Like why would somebody make it useless? They don't look like he could go very far if he wasn't walking on solid ground. And just very what's the word I'm looking for? Moneyed, we'll say, sort of look about him. As he is arguing with a guard over whether or not they can sell food, and, you know, the nature of the laws and how absurd it is. And kind of this like drag out argument going on. But not too far from him, you see where the stand is set up that this gnome was at. And you see the short, 3.5-ish foot tall person kind of running the stand. But with the dirty 20, you notice it's a halfling. It doesn't really, they don't have like the scar on the face like the dude yesterday. They actually might be a little bit taller than him. and just overall has like a different build.
Are they dressed to like look like him otherwise, other than like not matching the?
So the one yesterday was dressed in like a doublet that looked like it was part of a uniform. You see a number of the folks who are like kind of preparing to man these stands, specifically in the trade winds area, have a sort of uniform outfit. So in that way, he has the same uniform on.
Okay. Well, it's not immediately alarming if he's just not here yet. Can I kind of circle around the stalls just to see if he is out and about? But also, you said that some of them were selling like toys. If there's like a mastiff stand where you can get like a dog toy that looks very durable, I want to get something for Val.
Um, yeah, as you look around, you're seeing there's small carved wooden toys that are here and there, or small toys that are made of like braiding some of the marsh grasses together, dolls and a small horse. The of the wooden toys, you see maybe one that's made out of soft wood. It looks to be like a long, almost like a deer that's kind of like a little elongated and has like large. That's what I'm looking for. The antlers or horns are kind of like a big flat with tiny little pieces that come off the end, rather than like the almost branch like.
More like a moose.
Yeah, more like a moose. And the seeing something like that, that's probably the only thing of the size and of the type that would work, but it seems like it'd be reasonable for Val. And yeah, and it's 5 copper.
Okay, I will get it and put it in my bag.
It's carved. It's carved by hand, but it isn't particularly. It doesn't look like it's been carved with a lot of care.
Ah, okay. That's all right. Hand carved, but not artisanal.
You hear, and as you're passing through, and you're kind of hearing just some of the scuttlebutt and things going on. One of the folks from, who is it? Yes, you're kind of passing close to where the Fairy Mother's games and excitements are being set up. And these are some of the larger structures that are being prepared for some of this. There's a tiefling with a pale blue skin and big freckles. Looks like she's maybe a late teen, early 20s. Just chatting with one of the elves that's nearby, and she's like, "Yeah, I had to get out of Arvindor. It just it's hard to just sit in one place, you know. And also, we started having folk come from the swamp wanting to stay, and it seems like it's just a whole mess down there. The road life is much easier, and the elf kind of looks like she's just trying to get some stuff off of her chest, and the elf is just like, yeah, as he's like tying some stuff off and not really engaging the conversation.
Interesting. Well, I'd heard earlier that some of the youngins had sort of rebelled and stolen a turtle, right? So
You had heard that, yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Arvindor. Do I know where Arvindor is?
So I'm not going to have you make a religion check. It's a common enough thing. Arvindor is where supposedly the elven gods live. At least the good ones. The notion that there's a place out in the swamp that just is a town or a village or some sort of commune named Arvindor, it probably isn't the first time that you've heard of such a thing. In that, actually, you know what? Give me a history check. You might actually know more about this specific situation, given where you're from.
That's not great. 6 plus 2, 8.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like it's kind of like in the real world seeing like what's what we're looking for, a trailer park named Shangri-La, right? It kind of it's like that kind of vibe.
Mm.
These kinds of places have popped up here and there, so you don't know what specific place she's talking about, but it's probably something like that.
Hmm. I really want to know where it is. can can I sort of sidle over uh and like input myself into like the conversation, just kind of like, oh, excuse me, did you say Arvindor?
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. Have you been there? Are you a mudwalker?
I'm a mud skipper. Yeah. I've been to some Arvindors, but I don't know if I've been to that Arvindor or the Arvindor.
You would you'd know if you saw it. It's a tiefling city, the only one.
Oh. Oh.
Down, and she kind of like looks, pauses, and is like, south somewhere.
Okay. Well, see, the only reason I ask is I have like a little sister, and she was, getting all the oh, what do you call it? When you're anxious at home and you want to like spread your wings and fly. So she left our camp and said that she was going to go travel with some others that were wandering, but I haven't heard from her in a long time. So I thought maybe if that I didn't mean to overhear, but I heard something about swamp people. And I thought maybe that's what she is.
Uh, I suppose maybe. The thing is, Arvinder is a tiefling city. It's the only place that we've been properly welcome, I think,
Hmm,
and own, for us.
hmm.
So, uh, I mean, begging your pardon, but I hope your sister's not there. There have been folk coming in. I don't know what it's been about. There's a couple groups of families came in at one point.
Mm.
We occasionally get the skipper scouts going through that pass by and kind of check in, see what we're about, and if it's safe to pass near and
Mm.
so such. But yeah, no, it's some groups of elves have started rolling in. Um, Mostly family folk, not the kind of far travelers that we usually see.
Yeah, well, some folks they think they know better and want to start off on their own, but they find that it's much harder than they thought, and so they end up relying on the kindness of anyone else. So it appears that's what they've done is cozied on up to Arvindor.
I mean, in all honesty, I can't say the life of a circus folk is much different.
Well, I imagine not. But as a person who also travels from place to place, never with a solid bed, so to speak, I- I'd say doing so for a profession by choice is different than uprooting a whole family in a home. Like a home is different. I don't, it's a weird thing to describe. Like you can have a home on the road, but it's not the same. Do you know what I mean? It's your roots, I guess.
Oh, I mean,
Hmm.
Arvindor is a home for the rootless. You
Oh.
know, sometimes you have to make your home
Hmm.
because where you come from made sure that you knew that wasn't your home.
Hmm.
So I can't say I can really see eye to eye with you on this whole you need roots or home is different with roots, but you need somewhere to lay your head.
Yeah. Well, I'm ever so sorry that people ever made you feel like you weren't belonging. Um, and I do hope that the elves by Arvador are repaying their kindness.
I do hope so too.
Hmm.
There's not a lot to go around, you know, once you start building up places out in the swamp.
Hmm.
It's it's always a concern. But yeah, I reckon I'll probably make my way back there after this season, at least for a few months. Um, do you have a name? I can keep a lookout for a young elf who might be, or or an old elf. I guess I don't know how old you are, if I'm being honest. But I could keep an eye out for such an elf.
Yeah. She's Willow Rush. DeFera. About yay. And she's like sprightly height, like thin, small. Uh, hair probably, well, she tends to dye it with things she finds in the swamp. But it's normally like fire red and short. Spikes. Very, uh, well, I guess they call it punk rock. No, they don't. Anyway, no, she's just a real spitfire and likes to wander. So, yeah. You'll probably hear her before you see her.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for such a child.
Thank you.
Are you're gonna be around for the show, for the circus? Once we finish getting set up, it's gonna take days to get this set up. We usually get help from the city guards and such. It feels like we're not even welcome after they paid us to be here.
I don't think I have ever seen a circus, so I'm very interested. But that is a strange welcome. So many caverns have come up here, or caravans, I guess. And y'all were all hired by the same folk?
Yeah, just the Crests sent money, sent a letter. We made our way up here.
Wow. Nice.
Truth be told, the fairy mother, Gertie herself, she really thought about just taking the money and not coming up.
Oh. Well, that sure would have been egg on their face. Is that fairy mother Gertie? Is that anything familiar?
Fairy mother. So this is fairy mother's games and excitement. So presumably the ringleader of this group.
Okay. Is it normal for a bunch of different circuses and entertainers to travel together?
No, because there's just less money to go around. But being as we got paid up front.
Yeah, why not, I suppose. Yeah. Huh. Well, did they say there was like a date they wanted you up and running by? Like specifically, or any events?
Oh, there's some the escalating, something like that. I don't know, some religious thing, I guess. I don't know. I figured it was like High Summer or something like that.
Yeah, that's my first time here. I was just curious if there was a special date or time I should have been aware of.
I mean, our group will be up and running in 2 more days, and it looks like the whole thing, all the groups should be just about set up. Assuming this is all that's coming, who knows how many more are coming. But yeah, the event's in like a week and a half. I don't know. Fairy Mother knows. I know we're here early. That's all I know.
Okay. Well, I sure do appreciate all the information and wish you lots of excitement in your circus endeavors.
And I wish you very little excitement in whatever your endeavors happen to be, child.
Fair enough. I'll just offer like a quick shake and then wander back into the crowd.
Hold up.
Oh, all right. What? Hello.
Do you an animal person, or are you one of those folk who like freak out when they see an animal?
Oh no, I am a huge fan of critters.
I got someone to show you. And she whistles. There's just a few seconds, and then there's maybe a Great Dane looking dog with big pointed ears and a long tail, stands at its shoulder about 4 feet.
Wow.
Just appears next to her out of nowhere. Just a big dopey boy.
Wow. Oh. Who is this?
This is Alvin. He's my pup. So we keep track of different don't be letting Horson over there try and take my dog away from me. But you've been traveling with us, and this is Alvin here, and he and just starts like licking her hand and just like nuzzles into you.
Give him the big side pets like you do for Danes.
Yeah, he's part of the game that I run, the Blink Dog Grab.
Blink dog grab. Do I know what a blink dog is? I mean, I see it, and it appeared out of nowhere. But like, do I have any reference for?
This is a pretty rare beast. I would say I don't think you could roll and recognize it.
Fair enough. Blink dog grab. That sounds like a hoot. I guess Alvin is a blink dog.
And she winks and whistles twice, and he appears on her left side, and then appears back on her right side, and then poof, disappears and is right behind you.
This is just a miracle. Let's just like bend down and like dude, I will have to come by and try. What ma'am?
What was that?
What was her name?
Joy.
I wanted to come by her stall. Joy is his handler. I hate to say owner. Handler? Is that what you like?
Friend.
Oh. Wow. Did you find him? Where do you even go to get like such a creature? And I'm like looking at him and like lifting his ear, like looking at his teeth and just trying to like get a feel for him.
As you're looking, you notice as you look into his eyes, his the actual color around his eyes, the longer you stare into it, the more you can see it. It almost looks like there's something swirling in them, just in the color. Almost very similar to when you were at when you passed through that portal into the demon realm. Not as dark as that, but like something's reminiscent about the way that it swirls, and almost like these like shades moving in it. And when you look at the fur, as you pet it, it's a little bit more stiff and firm than you expect, and it's more like really fine scales than it is like dog fur.
Okay.
The feet actually come out to these 4 big toes, and it like stands upon those toes. And the more you look at it more consistently, the less it looks like a dog. The less it looks like something that you can really like recognize. Like from a distance, at a glance, for the first few seconds, you're like, oh, it's a big boy, you know, blah, blah, blah. But like now that you're, even the mouth shape kind of like curves down in an exaggerated way. And you can see the drool from between its teeth almost gets like an oil slick look to it. It's got that like rainbow as it sort of like drips down. And as it breathes out, there's just little puffs of air as though it were in the cold, but it's not very cold out here. And it sparkles, like the air, the little puff kind of like sparkles and dissipates.
Oh, wow.
And she just says, he was gifted to me by something that, well, it wasn't from here. I don't even know what I mean by here, but wherever I've ever been that's here, they're not from there.
Wow. Yeah. Truly spectacular. Huh. Wow. Well, I think you are very lucky, Joy, have such an extraordinary creature. And I will drop by to see if I can catch a blink dog.
Well, I'd appreciate it. Everybody gets a free play. So, just come and see me. You can have as many free plays as you want.
Aw, thanks.
And I'll give you one last thing, Kelly, before we kind of move on to the other group that you noticed with your Dirty 20. Something that Alar had noticed the previous day, these folks that are setting up specifically the Trade Winds area are much more organized than the folks setting up other areas. They are basically set up there, but they don't look like they're quite open for business. But you do notice, you don't see most of their they're workers at this point. They've
Hmm.
got a couple big tents set up, and you don't see a whole lot of people outside as far as the like carnies that were setting stuff up goes. Um, but you do notice there's a couple of them that are kind of like repeatedly going around and tightening like some of the knots and things. But as they're doing that, you notice that they are just intently watching the crowd, intently watching
Hmm.
the other circuses, and one of them basically exclusively has just been very consistently watching what the guards are doing at the wall.
Hmm. Well, that's fun. So, do I get the sense then that perhaps all the vendors are of the ne'er do well ilk, like Elias's friends, like that they?
Ye-
Yeah.
Only in this one circus, this one
Hmm.
group, the Trade Winds group. Everyone else kind of seems like, well, I mean, more traditionally ne'er do wells, like folks who
Hmm.
just uh, they ended up being carnies because that's where life took them.
Hmm.
But this group in particular just seems more highly focused and highly organized than any of the others.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna take note of that, and I will let Tosha know as soon as I see them again. Um, Maybe they should vary their schedule. Hmm. All right. Thanks.
All right. The crew making your way up to Lower Bastion. It is a trek through town, especially that first section of town where you've got all the windy roads. There's not major roads where you can walk 4 or 5 abreast. Um, it feels like it's made up of alleys and almost like a maze. You filter your way through there, get to the next ring where there's a lot of larger residences and some businesses and a lot more churches, and then the inner ring where the Temple de Gond and some of the other kind of inner workings of like smithing and other technical and kind of area intensive work. Um, and past that, up the switchback to Upper Bastion, the 4 hour trek, including the Path of Patience with all of the super slick ice just near Upper Bastion, and make your way through the Great Gates and find yourself in this great courtyard of the church. The small outbuildings and living quarters that are out here. Make your way back towards the church. Mama, you know that there isn't a privy inside the great church of the Asher. There are outhouses out here, and we'll say some pretty disgusting ice sluices set up in tactical places where it is convenient.
Just
I
so
just, yeah, I
you
just
know,
need to
that's
be able to slip away somewhere, cast my detect thoughts.
What was that, Patty?
I was gonna say, for those who've never been in a bathroom at a bar that has urinals, that's like the most fun game to play. So I don't melt the ice. I've drank more beer just so I could go to the bathroom again. It's like my second favorite game to play when.
The only place I've ever been that was like that was Wrigley Field before they fixed it up. That was so vile. Like it wasn't even fun. It was just so vile.
Sometimes if you're really good, you can put enough pressure on one side that it shoots a piece of ice out of your urinal into the person's next to you.
I feel like I've learned a lot.
They call it a pingu. When you do it, just go newt newt, pat him on the shoulder, and go wash your hands.
Ew.
Ugh.
Nope. Anyway, so let's start with the folks who are outside approaching Detir at the smithy. There's some light work, and Derek, as you approach, you can see actually the way that he's smithing with fire of life as he's working on some sort of short sword. Um, it's just really inefficient. Like he really doesn't know what he's doing. But you approach.
he might.
Yep, I saw.
Okay.
Well, we'll actually jump to the folks inside the church first, unless this worked. Is he here? Hey, can you hear me?
Mic check.
Hey, mic
Yay.
works. Can you hear me?
Nope.
Nope. Holding one.
Oh.
Holding an extra one.
Hey, now I can hear you.
Hey!
My Discord's been weird today. It's dropped me twice.
Yeah, that's obnoxious.
Second.
Is what it is. We don't get paid to do this. Hey, viewers. All right, Darren, Jesus.
Darren.
Derek. Sorry, I work with the Darren. Derek,
My new
you,
secret identity.
you approach, and you can see that this Datir has been trained in magical crafting. You knew that, but clearly, as they stated, doesn't know the mechanics of it or how it works, because this is very inefficient, the way that he's doing this. Just a bunch of the fire of life is just burning off, and you're like, what? These look like things you're going to be able to use once a day instead of like holding an enchantment. Who does this? But you notice this as you walk up and approach.
Disgusting. Pathetic. Lowbrow. I see they don't even have a healing glyph on the wall.
They
You're
do
just
not.
muttering this to me as we walk in.
Yep.
Okay.
You start pointing out like health standards that you are creating.
Where's the glyph with the water spell in it, in case something goes wrong? I mean, the whole place is a death trap. And this,
that
shoddy
standard?
craftsmanship. Shoddy craftsmanship.
Didn't this guy like teach you how to start doing this process? Like,
Absolutely trash.
okay.
I'm gonna have to write him up.
You're saying this, and he kind of like pauses. He gets to a point where, again, Derek, you know that if he holds the enchantment here for more than like 30 seconds without striking and pushing the enchantment further, it'll go away. So he's like holding very carefully, and he looks up at you, and he's like, well, you sound like Vernon. Oh, shit, and starts hitting away at it again.
Ugh. Just... do we need to do this?
After another minute or so, it's kind of in a place where the enchantment is stable, and he sets it to quench, and he turns around. Well, it's been some time, little one, and human. Can I help you?
It's Big One now, archetype of the great Vernon of the Mountain. Esquire, here's my card. It's written in Goblin, just chicken scratch.
Completely illegible.
Looks
Absolutely illegible.
just looks at it, and he's like, well, I can only kind of read Dwarven, so thank you. Dirk?
Can we kill him too?
No.
It's Derek.
Derek and what was I? You said human? Is that what I'm doing right now?
I didn't know.
I don't remember.
I didn't know who you were.
No, it's okay. I think it was Alar the last time I came by. That's fine. So then yeah, I'll slip back into that. We were wondering how things had gone, considering the we made it to Vernon. That was a fun trick. It was some Derek learned some cool things.
Smith with the fire of life and death.
Vernon
Immediately made a bomb.
Vernon taught you how to smith with the fire of death already?
Yep, I taught him how to walk better with a cane.
Well, now I know you didn't even go see him. There's no way he got out of his chair.
Absolutely, he did.
I think there was something about a new bedpan.
Oh yeah, and I made him a better bedpan. No, I
Yeah.
didn't.
No.
Did I? I
I
think I
don't
just
remember.
made fun of him for using a bedpan.
Might have been it.
Made him the get up cane.
Yeah, I made him the get-up cane with the mortar in it, little firework, so that he could tell people if he fell down and couldn't get up.
The help me button.
I'm not sure what you mean about his bedpan, but yeah, okay. What can I help you with?
We talked the last time we were here about the clearly malevolent items that we had found that were left in your care.
Yes. Um, I I was able to break the enchantments on them. They're just dark steel. I can't do anything with them. They're already made. Um, but they seem to be. I'll be honest. When I broke the enchantment on the mall, it something came out of it.
And
Steam?
Well, Steam doesn't laugh usually, but it just dissipated. It was like a black smoke, and then it went up and away.
well, that's concerning. Hopefully, it went on to a better place. Or a
Or
worse one.
worse.
Yeah. Um.
Either
Anything
way,
you can
just
do?
not here. That'd be great.
Yeah. Anything you can do with dark steel, Derek? Be helpful in any way?
Once it's made, I think if we've it's kind of the what do you call it? The culture of the metal. Once it's made, it's kind of stuck in that form. You can't really melt it back down again.
Yeah, it's not really workable at this point. It could be further enchanted. I think if you're able to enchant on dark steel, that's nah, I
Yeah, I
couldn't
can.
do that. He just kind of like cocks his head and sure, yeah.
You'd be able to too if your forge was up to code. Surprised you
Um.
get anything done around here.
I appreciate the effort and getting rid of the darkness that was in it. Um. Unfortunately, I don't have any more troll hearts to share for you folks.
Well, that's I guess unfortunate.
Yeah.
Say all I've got left is I think it's pinchers. Yeah, I've got pinchers from a Kruthic.
I have some ode to Kruthic if he is looking for a new scent
What
for
about
the
some
season.
shitty gloves? See, I was going to put him on the end of a stick with a little line that you could pull that would open and close them and give that to Vernon so he could get things off of tall shelves. But he'd already gotten the cane, so I figured,
I mean, he's like looking at them, and the claws are like very sharp on the inside. He's like, I'm pretty sure I could fashion like a pike or something like that out of this, or even
Pretty sure I could
even
too.
a
I've got 6 of them.
even a hand blade, like a curved
Oh, that'd be cool if we had a monk. Give them crab claws.
crab kukri.
Crab
Nice.
kukri.
But yeah, that's those do look like something that I could work with. Does either of you know what at Altelianos? Have you heard such a thing?
Thalianos, what is
Checking my notes.
The
Thelianos.
If it's not fate, no.
or Veritano?
That actually rings a bell.
When I disenchanted
Yes.
when I disenchanted the mall, there was laughter and a voice that said those two things, and then it was gone.
Oh, or one of those
Yep.
the other
Yep.
name of
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yep. So the spirit that came out, it was talking about those two.
Nobody in particular.
It just it said those
Nobody
names.
we know.
Are those names?
Nope. Shut up.
No, sorry. Like it said the words is what
God.
I'm
Is it-
trying to get across.
Yeah, I just assumed it spoke an old language. Who knows how long that spirit's been in there? That was
Yeah.
a dark enchantment that was on it. I don't know. I think somebody's soul might have been stuck in it. I don't even know if you can do that, but that seems like
We got it off a real evil elf, so I'd probably just kind of leave it at that point. Like, whatever that incantation is, best to probably just put it out of your mind.
yeah.
But I mean, if we can Derek, if you think you could re-enchant the dark steel, I mean, you wear or can you wear plate? Can we put it on Prickles?
I'm gonna armor myself before Prickles.
I don't.
I don't know where Prickles is.
That's true.
I guess I could, because he does get that AC bonus the next time I summon my my fleshy friend.
Oh God, we just
I could make him armor and start like tying that on each time, and then send him into battle while I take a nap.
you specially enchant the armor to take glyphs of warding, so it's just a walking
Oh
bomb.
my god, it wouldn't work because he moves, but that's fucking. He just stands outside the door and then gives you
Okay.
a hug.
We summon your friend. We give him the box. He walks forward. He opens the box. He puts his hand in the box. We remake your friend.
I'll say, what's the worst that can happen to him?
I
He's
cast
dead.
Walking Bomb.
There was a spell called that in like Dragon Age or something. Like it
There
was just
was.
called.
There
yeah,
was.
it was good. All right. Yeah. If we can pick up the armor from Datir, I think I don't have anything else to go over with him. The idea was just like to de-evil those things if possible.
I can't even find what fucking. Where's the goddamn
Just looking
mail
for?
I'm currently wearing? What my current
Oh.
armor is? Scale mail. Yes, I could use some plate.
Nice.
And you're able
I
to.
have the strength for it, I think.
Oh, maybe not.
I think it just slows you down if you don't have the
Yeah,
strength
if
for
you
it.
don't have the strength but you're proficient, I think it just slows you.
All right, well I'll be a slow Derek then.
And this is like it's plates, right? That are that combine together, so you're able to kind of delete some of the plates that you don't need.
I don't get a plate skirt.
Yeah, more or less. But yeah, so you're able to kind of delete most of the plates that you don't need, and you like take the chest plate is luckily in like two pieces, so you sort of like take one piece off, you recreate straps, and you're able to like make this thing fit Derek.
Hooray!
And you I would say you have enough left over that you could make barding for Prickles in a similar fashion.
Well, why not? Can I
Okay.
borrow your forge for a couple hours? Our friends are busy anyway.
Jesus.
He like looks over at you and he's it's and you look, this place was built to have like three smiths going at once, and he's like, yeah, I mean, go for it, as long as you have your own resources or you have resources requisitioned. I can't these are already called for by the pale ritualist, as he points to like the ingots and stuff.
Pops out an essence of life. All I need. Drops on the ground.
Jesus.
He looks really confused by what you're holding. He has no idea what that crystallized essence is.
Oh. This is all I need, and the plate.
All right.
Is it plate or half plate?
It will be full plate.
Yeah.
So we've got a dark steel maul lying around.
There's a dark steel maul.
I'll just put it in my saddlebags for now.
Yeah, you can keep it. So I could put like.
Put it with all my plate tree branches.
When somebody
very
needs
little-
a big enough lever that's strong enough.
You can always
Put
try
essence
to
of
re-enchant
death
it
on it.
later. I mean, you could try to sell it to somebody. You know, hey, Beefy comes back. Hand it off to him.
But
Oh, he's got like a big old Vorpal
Vorpal
sword. You don't need
sword.
it, but yeah. If we're just gonna wait till Derek finishes that, I'm gonna just like take those bright tree branches. I'm gonna start carving off that bark, like whatever I think would actually be useful, because I haven't had really much of a chance to do that yet.
Yeah, and so you're essentially like the bark itself. You can't really carve into. You don't have anything that will make headway into it. But
Oh, interesting.
the wood, you're able to like basically break and scrape the wood off. So you're essentially cleaning these like steel-like bark pieces.
Sorry, I'm okay. I'm very confused how this works. How I break the wood off the bark, but the bark can't be cut through. Sorry.
Yeah. So like essentially, you've got a branch that has
Yeah.
bark, and the bark is not one big continuous piece across the branch. It actually
Uh-huh.
looks like little plates that separate when the branch was stretched
Okay,
out.
gotcha.
So you're able to kind of peel and break those off
Okay.
of the wood, but you
Mhm.
can't like split one of those chunks of bark
Gotcha.
without significant tooling. I guess you're in a forge. Like if you really wanted to, we can shape the bark, but
No, it's fine. I mean, like
you're just
that's
cleaning it.
basically what I
Yeah.
was thinking of doing anyway, just getting the bark off the wood kind of thing.
And as you're kind of breaking the wood, there's like some sort of liquid or oil or something in the wood. With your knowledge of alchemy, you think that you could probably preserve that wood and extract whatever that essence is. It probably has something that you can work with.
I would like to collect all of it as much as I can.
Cool. I'm not going to make you roll for pulling the bark pieces off. That it's as easy as it sounds. It's just a little bit of work. But give me an alchemy check with the wood to see if you're able to kind of preserve what you're looking to.
That'll be a 21 with newly expertise alchemy tools.
Oh, cool. So yeah, you think that with all of these big branches, if you were to distill down this liquid, you could either work with it and craft it into something that does like a grease that would create like a lightning effect on a weapon, or you could make a material that, or you could make a potion that would give you resistance to such damage.
Cool. I'll keep that in mind.
And out of these big branches, of which I think you have four, if I remember right,
Yep.
I would say you can make 8 doses of either.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Hey Nate,
Yeah.
I've only made stuff with both light and
Oh no.
life and death. I don't know what just life does.
What are you putting that in?
The plate?
In the plate. That's a good question. The plate itself is, what's the word? It's not magical in that like the enchantments on it have been broken, but dark steel interacts with magic, and so it's essentially sort of like it already has an enchantment on it. So it will be particularly strong in the first place. When you enchant it with with just essence of life, and this is the crystallized, right? That you have.
Right, because I don't have any raw.
You think that if you were to just add one of the crystallized, that it wouldn't really have much of an effect. If you had 3 in combination of life and or death, that's probably what it would take to have any effect on it.
Do I want to burn that many essences of life though? So 2 life and a death? Is that a good idea? We flip a coin. All right, Nate. Evens 2 life, 1 death. Odds I burn 3 life, which leaves me with 1. Oh no, it leaves me with 0. Come to think of it. That's a 1, and I don't remember what I said. Which ones are odds?
I was looking something up. I also missed it. Anybody else who was listening?
I think odd.
Even,
Sorry, go ahead.
even was 2 life, 1 death.
So then I'm using up 3 essence of life. Probably should make more soon.
3 essence of life.
Who wants to give me some blood? Pop, pop, pop.
Well, let's see. You might be getting it naturally, I guess.
I got
Do
plenty
you
of
have
essence of death.
a cool dragon? I'm sure that blood would be pretty cool.
What I'm saying.
Not
Sorry.
doing it.
I'm joking.
I'm not.
I'm not suggesting it.
With 3 essences of life, you're able to create an enchantment on the armor. You get the sense that with this armor, now it's specifically life imbued. So it is not like when you start combining the essences, you kind of get like some different weird effects, but like this is distinctly a life effect. When you receive healing, the once per healing effect, a healing effect on you can be re-rolled. So, or excuse me, a healing effect that you are impacted by. So if it's like an area effect, you could re-roll it and it impacts everybody. But it's a full re-roll. It's not a select dice. So, and you must take the second option.
Gotcha.
Second roll, excuse me.
How dramatic does this suit of armor look? Like if Derek walks in normal scale mail, Derek walks out with like end game plate of just like is it,
So
flanged and very noticeable?
Completely normal, except for right here.
yeah, I was gonna say the chest plate actually looks relatively normal. There's a big symbol of it's like a magical sigil of life, kind of towards the center, that is encircled in a gear. And that all sits above the metal. None of the work that you saw Derek do, and some of it involved hammering, made any indents in this metal. Nothing about the metal has changed. He's had to like manipulate it by moving the plates around and changing the fasteners. But looking at the rest of it, the skirt kind of drops down below Derek's knees. Derek, it's you know when you start doing certain martial arts training and you're just like slamming Coke bottles against your shins? It's like that. So like it's not super comfortable, but you know that it'll toughen your shins up, I guess. But the biggest thing is that because this was a human-sized or an elven-sized armor originally, and you do want to have like enough of it to get the benefits of having plate mail, you have the pauldrons on, and on a goblin, these look like endgame WoW pauldrons. Just like taller than your head, sticking out like an extra 6 inches than they seem like they should on either side.
It's very Warcraft,
And,
very Warhammer.
and very spiky and kind of evil looking, except there's like a light, pale glow of life energy coming off of the tips of everything.
Okay,
Wow.
so it's very subtle.
Very subtle.
I walk around like this until I don't.
Cool. Good to know.
Amazing.
I am slightly harder to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, by the way, that counts as adamantine armor.
That's cool.
I'll take it.
So you're slightly harder to hit, and you can't be crit.
That's going to be important. I feel like I have been the one to get crit.
You've been hit more than anyone else, and by extension, you've been crit way more than anyone else.
I can see that.
Yep.
And to you, Alar,
No, I'm scared.
would you like a scale mail pair of shorts? Because I
No.
don't think you can wear, because you're not a small creature.
I
Wild scale
appreciate it, but I'm pretty happy with the armor that I've got right now.
What if they were scale mail boxer briefs?
I need to be
Of
quiet.
death.
This doesn't sound quiet.
Death boxer briefs.
No. I'm not particularly interested in putting anything that's got essence of death on it anywhere near my privates.
Ha!
It sounds like a bad idea.
Derek,
Call them crotch rotters.
it probably occurs to you that if you wanted to make armor that would actually make it so it's easier to sneak in, it probably requires essence of death.
Yeah. Duh.
Like
AR.
his shoes probably have essence of death in them.
That's
There
okay.
you go.
It's on the feet.
I'm just saying, it makes you way more sneaky. We take off all your armor except for the sneaky briefs.
Derek's brief
then
for
you go-
prophylactic. Just a little essence of death.
Also, patenting sneaky briefs immediately.
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
You can just call me Derek.
And we turn our attention next door to the church.
Hmm.
Very simple.
The wash from top right to bottom left as Derek is holding up a pair of metal undies to the fucking elf man? Human, mostly? Who knows what he is? Derek doesn't.
Derek has no idea. He's finally figured out that he's probably Alar. Or Elias, whoever the fuck Elias is. And probably not Callie?
I think that's his sister.
Just
Probably.
Alar's fine.
Maybe Callie will want the sneaky briefs.
Within the Church of the Asher,
Maybe.
Mama and Tosha, you've been led in by these pale ritualists. And they beeline you, and you can see there's a bit of a buzz going on in the church. When you first enter, it is that large gathering space that you know to be the center of the church, where major rituals are performed. There's like this great sort of like bonfire set up in the middle of the room, around which you would be set up for such rituals. When you were mentioning previously like a grand hall, this is probably the equivalent of it. There are doors going off in 3 different directions, and you can see there's a constant flow of people in and out of the 2 side doors. That one that goes to the archive for research, and also some of the like modern documents of like treaties and things like that would also be found there. And the other side, where there's a lot more of the sort of like day-to-day work of the charred priests and the bureaucrats of the church, and then the back where there's the spiral staircase, and they lead you up to your mother's office.
All right. Yeah, I will. I don't know if knocking is typically a thing. I'll either knock or enter depending on if, they've indicated she's expecting me, or she's in there with someone else if it's closed, whatever.
They did indicate that she's expecting you. The door is ajar, and as you approach, you can hear Kamishava just sitting there. I don't care if they've been paid. I don't care if they get paid after this. Get them out of Uthel's stand.
I do lean over and I whisper to the high priest, well, I don't know that you need me, but I'll be here for support.
Thanks, Mom.
And there's a softer voice speaking back. Yes, yes, I understand, Bride, but you know how this looks. You know that there's some member, some cousin of the Austrites here keeping an eye, keeping tabs from down below. We need to make sure that we are showing entirely strength and not fear or weakness in our actions. Are you suggesting that we slaughter them? No, no, no. I think you're misunderstanding the suggestion. I think we keep them at arm's length, but let us not be too hasty in our reaction. Surely those that sent them would expect such a reaction. It was never your game, but we must think of this more as chess than as target practice. Bride. You know, I have regretted every time that we have disagreed that I ever made you Speaker of the Northern Wind. And yet, here I stand. Whatever happens, it is on you. Know this. and that I accept. And there's a moment as you are kind of entering and pushing the door open. The Kamishava looks up, seeing you in the doorway, and turns to the drow next to her. Go. We're done here. And the Speaker of the Northern Wind, the head of statescraft for Bastion, uh, whose name I totally have ready. There it is. Dorvin Evish, um, uh, uh, the aunt of Bly Evish, who you had seen down in the archive below, turns and bows to you, High Priest. It is good to see you.
Voice of the Northern Wind. Likewise.
And it is good to see a friend of the High Priest, Mama. And this person bows deeply and slightly to the side and kind of stands up with a very formal air and smiles. I'm glad to see that there are those who are taking care of the priest in our absence.
But they don't call me Mama for nothing.
Ah, I'd heard rumors that the priest was traveling with Mama Hazel Fay.
My reputation often outruns me.
It sure does. And how fares the Ferrico clan?
As well as could be expected at our great age.
Hmm. Yes, well, uh, and I suppose Clan Bashida, they still hold the reins in your hometown?
They do.
Yes, well.
Hmm.
Uh, Go well, Mama. You and yours. Uh, I hope that we don't have too much reason to chat in the future, as I'm usually here to clean up messes. And you hear a grunt from the Bride of the Asher.
Well, then, let me thank you for this rare honor.
I just ask that you don't slap any Austrites while you're in town, if you wouldn't mind. Things are tenuous enough as it is.
I'll do my best.
I ask only that. And she bows again and makes her way out.
Alright. We enter.
Close the door behind you.
I let Mama in, of course, and then close the door.
The bride looks a little displeased that you did so, but doesn't say anything. When you close the door, you notice that there's a small sigil on the door that you've never seen here before. You've been in this place 1,000 times, at least. There's a small sigil that aligns with a small sigil on the door, and there's a blue flash. Um, you may, as much as you trust this one with you, speak freely.
Do I recognize the sigil at all? Like, is it an arcane
Give,
sigil?
give me an Arcana check.
Oh, back to rolling like trash, I see. Yeah, that's an 8.
It looks like a barrier of some sort. Somewhat reminiscent, but certainly like more modern in a very different style than some of the things that you saw down below in the old keep that you traversed. Um, but this is modern. This is not made on the same types of magic that those were. But yeah, it seems like some sort of barrier set at the door.
Right. Yeah, with that, I'll just say, Mother Corin, sends her greetings. She is no more, and has passed the mantle on, to Mother Glory now. Um, there was much that passed while we were um up in the Temple of the Moon. The Memory Grove has been restarted. We cleared the blighted land. So much happened at the Temple of the Moon before we headed back.
And you allowed such to happen.
Well, yes, I helped make it so.
And you would move the seat of power from Bastion to the Temple of the Moon, to Mount Orion.
I don't really see what this has to do with that.
What do you think will happen now that a Memory Grove exists again? What do you think will happen to the place where the one known grove in existence? What do you think will happen there? Pilgrims, certainly, those who would come and be nearby, even if they didn't have the ability to join. Or have you aided in this as well?
I don't see why we should fear our allies so much that we don't help them.
It is not fear, it's common sense. Do you know? Do you know how tenuous our hold on the North is? It relies entirely on our ability to produce food, and we have not demonstrated that we can keep that up in recent years. And this new grove, this new point of hope, this new source of pilgrimages pops up just as our hold weakens. You just did not see this whatsoever.
Well, prior to this, we fixed the problem that was causing the food stores to be low. So, has something new happened? Is there news that the food isn't taking root?
No. But do you know for certain that the food stores will be as good as they have in the past? And do our allies believe this to be the case?
That I don't know. You know, statecraft is not my job.
Well, consider this a lesson. Perception is more important than reality. Do not forget that. So, what... First, you delivered the message to Mother Corn.
Yes.
Did she send a response?
She just sent her support from the Temple of the Moon.
Just
Continued allyship.
I had a specific request. There was no response.
No, I don't think she gave me a specific letter or anything, right, DM?
No,
I didn't have that in my notes.
no, she didn't. But she did say to you specifically. She said a specific thing to you. Now, did Tosha take that as just her giving her support? Then you probably didn't see any reason to have the exact thing she said.
Yeah, I mean, I'll share as close to what I can recall exactly as she said. I was trying to see if I had her exact wording noted down.
Was it something like, our relationship is going to be the same? That's vaguely what I remember. Like she wasn't responding in like a It was very much like a no changes are planned kind of vibe from what I remember, but I don't remember any more specific than that.
Yeah.
I heard make Derek king.
So yeah, I'll just share that. But no written response was sent.
This is troubling. The new mother, Glory.
Yes.
Do you think she also an ally to us?
I do. She helped me personally.
I said ally. I didn't say debtor.
I say that to mean that yes. She already proved as such so far.
Ramanari will be going with a small band to the Temple of the Moon within the week. See to it that if you need anything from her, you get that before she heads out.
I will. There is something else. As we were approaching, we saw a circus out front, and they were saying that they were hired by you, by the crest. Is this true?
Yes, this is what you saw when you decided to arrive in Bastion, and rather than report back your findings and retreat to the safety of Upper Bastion with all of the things going on, you stayed in a house. Outside of the city walls, even. Yes, I'm aware there's a circus there. I'm aware of many things.
Did you hire them?
No. No. They've come bearing news that they had been paid. Antosha. The church. I would not pay circuses to come and join our deeply religious activities. I would not invite the chaos to the event.
I thought as much, which is why it seemed concerning.
Yes, there's this Lucian Vincent, a cousin of the Alstrite family. He's one of those elves with like 7 names. Alstrite is one of them, importantly. He's running one of the stands, but I suspect that he has more to do with the entire organization. I don't know what's going on there. Also, someone has the goblins wound up about something, and I can't help but think that these things are related.
Yes. I have news on that front as well. Derek, who was sent to help me as part of the party I was traveling with. He said that he's heard some word from other goblins that Big Gut is planning to lead some kind of rebellion of the goblins against Bastion itself. While we were down outside the gates, many of the goblins have left the area there. Supplies and things have been taken. It seems concerning.
Yes. I don't know what it's about, but this is not the first time goblin warlord has decided that they are enemies to Bastion. This only concerns me in that there is one who bears the Ostrite name outside of the protection of the walls. Were he to fall due to something about these goblins, it could give reason for more trouble. I don't like this, Antosha. I don't know who, what is conspiring, and I do know that there are those here who would conspire as well. Do they have anything to do with these circuses? I don't know, but Bastion is not... Bastion has never been a safe place. But you should know that even the walls of this church will not protect you from problems from within. Travel safe. I would have you in the church until the happenings.
I think I can arrange that.
Well, I think you shall. It has been decreed.
One other thing. I met with the Mother of the Mountain on our way. She told me many things. One of them being that you had been to see her as well.
I would give little heed to the spirits of trickery that land and that populate our land.
What did you try to steal from her?
Antosha, give little heed to these spirits. And give me, the DM, a insight check.
Yes, that's what I was hoping for. $23, baby.
All right. So with a 23, you feel like you, in a very rare case, got Kamishava on the back foot. She looks confused at the notion that she stole something, but she seems bothered that you are pushing this line of questioning or that you know anything about that.
Right, well, simply trying to learn something that other forces could maybe use against us, but you'll keep your counsel as always.
I will worry of other forces in this case. You, I believe, have enough to worry about. I've seen virtually all of the Ashen Elders make their way out to that circus to see what's going on. I suspect at least some of them have something to do with the appearance. I don't have any proof, but I think that there are folks posing as circus performers or working men or what have you that are here for more insidious purposes.
I've also heard similar rumors. Did this happen before at other ascensions? Something like this circus?
I've Only seen my one, and my mother would not stand for such a thing. She would have killed them. Sometimes I don't always think she was so wrong.
What is it you intend to do about the circus?
I keep the council the voice of the northern wind, because she is skilled in this in a way that I am not. I would not wish to accidentally shift power, as some of us try to think through those things before taking action.
I had one other thing. I wanted to secure the housing again for the group that's traveling with me. Here in Upper Bastion near the church.
And you would extend your trust to all of them.
I would. They've had many chances to either kill me or let me die in our travels. If they wanted me dead, I would be so by now, I think.
We've removed many of the folk who live up here in preparation for the coming times. As you know, it can be treacherous when the mantle of power moves hands. There is room. You will answer to the Ashen Elders when they ask why strangers are allowed up here.
That's fine. I'm prepared to do so.
Very well. Is there anything else? You went down there in search of information, and you came back to report on how you shifted the politics of the entire North. Did you at least get the information that you went for?
I did.
Good, then hopefully that means you are satisfied and prepared for the ascension.
I believe so.
Well, there's one more thing that I would include you on. And she turns and she looks at you, Mama. You extend your trust. I do not trust, but I suspect that there's little you could do regarding this, elf. And she grabs one of the, and you hadn't noticed, you had other things on your mind, Tosha, but there's a cloth hung on the wall, kind of in between tapestries, a little awkwardly, doesn't look like it belongs there, you've never seen it there. And she pulls it down, and there's a 6-fingered handprint, elongated fingers, maybe a little broader than human-sized, but the fingers themselves must be 10, 15 inches, pressed into the back wall, and there's just like a little ice, like an icy handprint, and shadow just falling off of it. I was visited by a representative. A creature in service to the Scar's shadow. The spirits, they don't speak as clearly as we need. Usually, this one was clear. They need soldiers, and I don't know why. Iced will not be keen to send soldiers away with everything going on between the goblins getting stirred up and these southerners setting up circuses. And this blasted spirit wasn't forthcoming with why they needed soldiers. but we are bound. I would need you to speak on my behalf. Bridges have been, we'll say, there are some issues between myself and those who need to be spoken with. So I would either have you speak with Baz, the High Purifier, or I would have you speak with Iced himself in public with friends, please, about getting either some pale ritualists or soldiers sent to the Scar. I don't know what the problem is, but if we don't answer the call, some of the protections from Bastion will expire.
How many did the spirits request?
They simply said an army.
Any indication of when they need to be sent by?
It's said by the next full moon, which is the Ascension. I don't know. I don't know if they need to be in place by then, or just leaving. I am not apt to take chances. You might also consider talking to Galen Vestor. They are in Upper Bastion in preparation for the Ascension. I wouldn't send our whole wall, but if we need to fill some gaps, perhaps his men would suffice.
Understood.
But press on Iced first. He should be the one to be sending soldiers, and frankly, I don't like him having so much arms power leading into the things going on.
I will try. I don't know that he's more inclined to listen to me than he is to you, but I'll try.
You could speak with his daughter if you think that would get you anywhere.
I don't.
Nor do I.
Is that all?
That is all I have. If this is your report, I am quite busy.
I turn to go.
Did you want to pitch your sleepover idea?
Oh, I'm not telling her I'm doing that.
Gotcha.
She ordered me to be in the church. I'll be in the church with
Smart.
everyone else.
I follow immediately. And I show her the inside of my cheek that is bloody because I've been biting the inside of my mouth to keep myself quiet
Oh, did
once
you?
we're in the hallway.
Yeah, as we're kind of going down, I'll also whisper, did you read anything?
So, Mama, because you did say that you had wanted to use the privy to cast detect thoughts. So in this conversation, there's a lot of it where it's like, you know how talking to her can be like talking to a brick wall. Her outer thoughts are very similar. Like she keeps very focused on the words coming out, and it almost strikes you as like she's trained to avoid this sort of thing. Just with how focused she's been on not giving anything up. But when Tosha brings up the grandmother of the mountain, the wall crumbles a little bit, and you hear the voice of a younger orc talking, and just there's just the brief moment of, and I would have the choice. I would have the choice to raise her beyond the needs of Bastion. That's all I need. That's all I want. Um, there's a bit of scrambling, and as Tosha kind of presses on it, um, you see again kind of an image, a younger orc that you had seen recently hug Tosha. Um, I believe you were there when Raminari.
Yeah.
You see Raminari um, uh, walking alongside, holding a small half orc's hand, maybe 5 or 6 years of age, um, and Raminari just says, "All right, yeah, I know. Come on, Kamishaba, let's go. Yeah, your mom will catch up soon."
So once we're well past her mother's floor, I explain the two things that I heard and saw. It didn't make a lick of sense to me, but that's what I heard and that's what I saw. And other than that, your mama's real well trained. She's just like reading a dictionary. Just the words float up and go by.
That doesn't surprise me. Um, but thank you for that information. And DM, just so I understand what Mama relayed that she saw. So there seems to have been another half-orc child named Kamishava that Kamishava was referring to in that conversation with the Mother of the Mountain. Is that
Those
accurate?
So those were two different kind of snatches of memory that came to mind. So one was presumably Kamishava talking to the Mother of the Mountain. Um, Separately, there was this flash of Raminari walking along with this little child that Raminari refers to as Kamishava.
Okay, so they weren't necessarily like related or in reference tandem to each other.
Correct.
Got you. So whoever she was talking about being raised away from Bastion could have been anyone as far as I know. And last question. Have I ever heard of this like Kamishava the Second being like referred to? Do I know of any child with that name in our like family tree?
You don't know of another Kamishava. While you're not super close, being as important of a family as you are, you do like know the cousins and everything like that. Um, that's a Kamishava is not popular enough even within the family that people are already naming children after her. We'll go with that. So you don't know of a half orc or a child of the family that bears her name.
All right. Very interesting.
Your mama got some secrets. I mean, we all do, but your mama really does. And whatever you said about the grandmother in the mountain, that had the wall crumble. Whatever her training was, it wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, I sense that as well, although obviously I wasn't able to see as much of the cause of it as you were.
Also, your mother's a pill. I don't need to tell you that. I'm sorry, because she's your mama and shame on me, but she's a pimp.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't offend me. Um, she's also, she didn't really raise me in the way that I feel like you raised your kids. Meaning, there were others who took care of me. We've always kind of met like that, more or less, even when I was little.
Mm.
But anyway, thank you for being there. I know she said a lot of harsh things about people and things that you care about. And I'm sorry you had to hear it.
Well, I wish I'd been able to find out what Ostrich she was talking about. That handprint weirds me out.
Oh, yeah. She said Lucian Vincent. I'm doubting that that name means anything to me, DM. Is that true?
I'm just gonna let both of you know the only person who has any chance of recognizing it is Elias.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Mhm.
I feel like we should definitely ask Elias about that, but I did put the name to memory. I do know something about that spirit, uh, the Scar's shadow that she referenced. And yeah, that's
Well, we got to talk
another,
to Callie about her friend.
yeah. Um, it's another one of the ancient spirits, like the grandmother of the mountain.
Oh, so it's Charmin.
Called the Scar's shadow. I mean, I've never interacted with it, and it could be a different type of being than her in some ways, um but I know that it resides in the world Scar. Um and it's a bit of a strange portent, I guess, that it is coming now, because at least as far as I know, no one has seen the spirit interacting with anyone here in Bastion in a very long time. There's old stories of it happening long ago, but nothing recent.
Well,
Um,
honey, I hate to tell you this, but there's a lot of old things that are becoming more recent.
it's true. But it's the Scar's shadow is supposed to hold the enchantment, or one of them anyway, that protects the city during the long night. So
Oh, I see.
it's this
Great.
issue of the soldiers is very important, because if that enchantment were to be withheld, that would be very bad for us.
So many.
Well, this can't be good because if anything that can protect you from the long night needs soldiers, that's not a good sign. I'm just going on record with that. Like, that's not good.
I agree. And I know
Let's
that
go.
was isn't that also where
Yep.
the the person we met from Kriskadal, wasn't he going there?
Yep.
Yeah, does not bode well.
Nope. 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 Surely doesn't. And I want to go to the circus now. Just forget about my life for a bit. They had animals there. It seemed real nice.
Well, and
I know
assassins.
it's a trap, but it's a pretty trap.
All right. Well, thanks again, Mama. I suppose we should go find the others.
Will they let you out of the castle?
I mean,
Yeah, as you approach the front doors of the palace, there are two not charred priests, excuse me, pale ritualists, standing there with their spears crossed, not allowing you to leave, letting you know that they're under orders that you are not to leave.
well, Mama, maybe you should go.
Noted.
Everyone up.
Yeah, excuse me, folks. I'm gonna go see the circus.
They let you pass through. They don't give you too much notice.
No.
And yeah, I don't know where you want to flash to next, DM, but I have some things while I'm waiting for the rest of them to come up that I would set in motion up here.
Yeah, so about half the day has passed. The down by the circus, Callie, is there anything else that you're trying to get done for the day besides keeping an eye out? Even after hours and hours, you don't see this gnome showing up.
But everybody else in that particular group is still clocking and surreptitiously setting up and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, there's only so many times that you can like tighten the cords on the tent, and it looks like it's actually necessary. You passed that like 3.5 hours ago.
Nice. How many do I count in this group?
In that group in particular, you know, yesterday you probably saw a good 20 of them just out and about, but like today you haven't seen more than 2 or 3 at a time. Although counting faces, you get up to about 12. So there's still a good number of them around, but there's a number you haven't seen.
Okay. Well, that's alarming. Where have they scurried off to? All right. There's not really a whole lot I want to do. I think that I've like reckoned that the circuses are smoke and mirrors for these vendors who have snuck in. And so my focus is kind of away from the acrobats more or less and onto that one section of them. I don't think I can leave or do anything. No, I'm just gonna, I guess, as I'm circling around, just keep an ear out for any interesting other bits of like gossip. I'd love to get a look at one of those letters if I could like find one of the circus leaders deep in their cups or something and like see what the actual writing was. I would love that. But that might be more of an Elias thing.
Yeah, you're struggling to kind of find a time and place where you could kind of surreptitiously do that. Also, you have a suspicion that if these are letters that are allowing them to get paid, they're probably something that is kept like in a strong box or something like that, generally speaking.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. It's just, I just love to see like the shitty ass signature or seal, something. But yeah, I guess, yeah, if I could wander around to the other circuses, I'm sure that they're all going to give me the same, like, we were hired by a crest, got a letter, basically the same story. Can I just sort of like easily do that with like, oh, what are you guys doing here? How'd you hear about blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, and as you do, you had spoken with folks at Horse Sons already. They had said that when you talked to Fairy Mothers, they had said the same thing. The folks at Trade Winds, they're a little bit more cagey. This is where those folks who are a little more organized were. That you've been minding. They're a little more cagey about it. They don't really talk about like who's paid them or the fact that they've been paid. They're kind of just like, it's not really your business. You know, we work, we get paid to work. It ain't your business when and how we get paid.
All right, just curious. You know, think about the life, I guess. And just, okay. So how many circuses, like how many groups are there total? Is it the 3? Just 3?
It's the 3 currently, yes.
Okay. Interesting. I will make myself kind of scarce. I don't want to question them too much and have them like earmark me. I'll just kind of wander off. And then wait for the group around the hut and make sure no one's waiting for us there.
Yep. As you approach the hut, you hear a loud poof coming from the direction of the hut.
Uh-oh. Do I know that Derek set a thing up?
Man, I hope so. Otherwise, you were just about to walk in there.
Yeah, I guess I will get my sword ready and try to like creep up quietly to see if I've come across someone like breaking into our spot.
Yeah, you see the door is a little bit off its hinge. And there's 2 goblins just inside the door, or pieces of 2 goblins just inside the door, as there is a good force that seems to have slammed them all the way into the ceiling. They've dropped down, and there's tattered clothes and blood, and they have like 7 hit points apiece. Like, neither of them made it through this.
Holy crap. I just kind of opened that like, and then just sort of look around to see if there's anybody else that might have been with them or coming after them. They were like the head scouts.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Ranger.
Jesus, Derek.
Call me ADT. Automatic delinquent terminator.
24.
24. So you do see, like in some like bushes further along, they're like movement, and then you can see like 3 or 4 more goblins just like running off, like booking it past some houses. These two, you can see sticking in the side of the door, is like a little chisel.
A femur.
Is like a little
And a femur.
chisel, and you can see there's like a busted hammer. It looks like they had come in here with like some masonry tools, for some reason.
Tried to break in with what they had, I guess.
No, they were stealing the bricks, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. How far away are the goblins that are running?
From you, probably 90 feet or so.
Can I
Start sniping.
run? No. I mean, I could, but no.
Send
I
a
wanted to
message.
run 10 feet and put my hunter's mark on one of them. So at least if my gang shows up for an hour, I have a better chance of tracking them back to where they ran.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, casting that. It's just like, no, just keep an eye on you. I'll get you later. Then wait for my friends.
Sounds good. Derek and Elias, the two of you, after you've kind of like worked with some of your material and Derek fashioned your armor, Mama comes out, looking, well, just pissed off, really, mostly.
Normal Tuesday.
Not quite. Maybe for her. Antosha can't leave the castle anymore, so we're gonna have to go back to her.
Raid the castle! Hell yes! I've been waiting.
That
No.
was not what I
No.
said.
Rescue mission.
Okay.
She's arranging our housing, if it makes you feel better.
I am Dark Steel Man.
That's a new set of armor.
Yeah, Derek is in some like very evil looking armor
But life.
with a life symbol on the chest.
I feel like it's slightly too big, so he still like wears his arms out like this.
Just like floaties.
Yeah.
Is it
Like the kid from A
Tarot
Christmas Story.
In that case, it might be a good idea for us to try to see if we can rejoin Tosha. If they can't go and talk to some of the people they wanted to talk to, at the very least, we could try to send. I can ferry letters to, or whatever messages need to be sent to folks. I'd like to talk to a specific individual Tosha and I talked to before. I think you'd like them if you want to come
I
on that
think
one.
so too. I remember hearing stories. I wanted to go to the circus for a bit and rest my brain. Because I bit the inside of my lip, and she shows the inside of her mouth. Like, we're just all bloody and stuff. Just to prevent me from mouthing off, because she's a real piece of work.
It is like a 4-hour trip back and forth.
Oh man, I'm too old to do that.
Would you like to meet another tree? Because in that case, you might be able to mouth off a bit.
What do you mean another tree?
The other like ashen elder is called the Great Oak.
Oh, well, yeah, I get along with plants just fine.
Then it should be good. Are they gonna let us in the church to like talk to Tosha, or are they like no one enters, no one leaves?
Well, Tosha's got some explaining to do apparently, because they're not real fond of us on a good day and
Yeah, well, we'll live.
whatever.
Unreasonable.
Or they
I
won't.
know.
And an army of goblins will come kill everybody.
Yeah, well, that's also part of it, but also there's a Vincent Lucian
Lucian.
All right.
Lucian
Nate.
History
Vincent.
check.
I'm gonna. That dice been rolling okay. Okay. I don't remember what my bonus is. All right. 16.
With the 16, Lucian, he's kind of a shitty nobody in the Ostrite family.
Wow.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
Just
Wait.
full on like so
Bill
he's
Skarsgård.
and I'm going to frame this in terms of a way that I think that Elias would think of it or recognize it, in that he doesn't seem to hold any power, but he is a nephew of the head of the family, and come to think of it, like, as much as he's basically useless, the best place that you could imagine someone like that being used would be, I don't know, as a pawn, where if he died, things would be bad, because it's, it's the head of the guild's nephew. You can't just let that stand. But also, most of the important people in that family just do not give a shit about him. He's the youngest of 5. He doesn't have rights to very many holdings, and he is not, importantly, not active in the guild.
So here's my question: is he a shitty Ostrite in that he's actually a shitty Ostrite, or is he a shitty Ostrite in that sounds like a great cover for sending somebody off to get out of the way because oh, no one pays attention to this guy, and he can maybe work some weird stuff on the side? Is he in my line of business? Possibly. Is that a suspicion, or is it nah, he's just a shithead?
I think it would be up to you to decide if that is how
Okay.
you would be suspicious or not. He's somebody that you know of as, first and foremost, as a nobody. Now,
Okay.
whether or not that makes him somebody to consider, it's kind of up to you to decide. You'd probably have to talk to him or get more information to get a better read on that sort of thing.
We'll introduce him to Mama, slap him about a bit, see what comes to the surface thoughts.
I'm under instructions of not slapping people. Now, if he deserves it, he deserves it.
Yeah.
But she deserved, a talking to, and I bit my lip. I'm trying to be better. Oh, God.
Hey, Derek, any chance we can get an army of goblins to wipe out
Yes.
a circus?
Yeah, no worries.
Just, curious. Let's go talk to Tosha. And at some point we need to go get Callie.
Well, you said
Elena.
it was 4 hours, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
If it's more than 30 minutes before and they don't come back, I'm going to start to follow that trail and as far as I can, subtly, so at least I can lead them back. But I don't want to oh, you've stumbled across the goblin camp. Well, I'm going to keep going without my friends. No.
Yeah, as you're
Kelly got eaten.
you wait 30 minutes, and then you start kind of tracking them, and it looks like they have taken off out into the stand. They're heading out into the reeds and the nearby woods to Bastion proper.
Okay, I'll kind of leave the way so that when I go back and my friends come, if we have to try to hedge off from there to find them again, we have a better shot.
All right, sounds good.
Mama, 3 quick questions for you. What's your favorite month of the year?
What are the months like
Just use regular
in the
months.
world in our normal months?
I actually wrote a bunch of them, but it's really just not worth it. So let's just use normal months.
Okay. Probably September.
Okay. And then favorite seasoning for oil fried potatoes?
Oh, that would be any kind of young like a green onion or a garlic.
Excellent, excellent. And how many guards are watching Tosha?
At least 2 pale ritualists, but they're not on her actively. They're just preventing her from leaving.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
I
Love to
have a
check.
suspicion I'm not getting any fried potatoes.
Yeah, well, somebody's gonna be seeing potatoes, that's for sure.
Oh, God.
Derek levels up, figures out how to do math, like true polymorph, starts turning goblins into potatoes, or guards into potatoes.
Well, I'll turn them into a potato, all right. They'll still look the same. I'm killing me a guard. I need a new undead friend anyway.
Oh God. All right.
Let's just hold tight on the guard killing for just a minute to see if we can get some housing first.
Can we get into the church to see Tosha?
Yeah, you actually don't have a lot of issue. They've seen you would have had more issue had you not come in the gates of Upper Bastion with the High Priest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there a way that we can get like a private room?
I'm guessing we have that house again. If everybody's cleared out, we probably have the same house we stayed in last time, right?
We being the rest of the group.
Yeah, that's not like in the church, right? Like we have to. I'm wondering if there's a place like a vestibule or something that we can have like a conversation in with Tosha, or like what's up with that?
I could just threaten the guards.
Yeah, that's gonna go well.
Let's hold off on that for now. I don't
Get him,
actually
Peter,
mind
Steve.
being here for the moment.
Yeah.
The displacer beast summon.
Tosha, you do know up the stairs, when you go to that spiral staircase in the back, there are some rooms that are usually empty or spare rooms, and if you go up high enough where some of the structure is actually collapsed, yeah, those are empty. Your mom wouldn't be too happy with you going there, but I don't think that particularly matters to you. It is technically,
It's technically in the church.
and it's,
Kind of.
technically kind of falling apart and a little dangerous to be in, but, you can risk it.
Well, before we start talking, I'm going to take the time to ritually cast Detect Magic again. Well, actually, I guess I haven't done it yet, but
Can we do Tiny Hut if that's doable?
Yeah, I guess I may as well just do Tiny Hut then, since that'll
Just a hut in a
anything out
church.
if it is there. Yeah, I'll do the hut on up on that unused kind of falling apart floor.
All right. You do so.
Give the guards the finger as I walk in the front door.
I can fill everybody in on like the dark steel stuff, but I don't know how much of a bearing that has on what anyone else is interested in. Oh, I do mention to everybody the stuff about the gods of truth and lies having a spirit, or that their names were mentioned by a spirit that came out of them all. That sounds fun.
Well, then I bring up the spirit thing that left a lovely.
Is that gravy?
What are
Like,
you
are you just drinking
gravy?
Please tell me you're just drinking gravy.
gravy shots?
Nice.
It's a Midwest thing.
Is that actually gravy?
It's not gravy, no,
You're
no.
jonesing for poutine so much that you're just drinking gravy.
We got KFC earlier and it came with like a drink. And so we're like, there's what was it, like lightning energy mountain.
It tastes like creamsicle and ass.
Yeah. And then so I was imagining they're gonna send us like cans or bottles. It came in this weird, like squishable bag.
Nice.
I don't know if it's better or worse than just drinking gravy straight.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, I
that's
think
worse.
I might prefer drinking gravy.
Gravy, yeah.
Yep, gravy out of a bag. Just
Yeah, it's like if they made that McDonald's orange drink like slightly medicinal.
Gross. What
delicious.
if we get informed about the spirit? What is Scar's shadow?
Yeah, I explain all of that stuff that I said to Mama earlier. If anyone needs me to repeat it, let me know.
It's the enchantment that protects us during the long night.
Yeah.
Derek knows too, because he lives
Nice. So, like, is it people? What do you mean, like a spirit was
It's
sent,
like
a
the grandmother
representative?
of the mountain.
Yeah,
that's
it's
it's
like
an
one of
okay.
the ancient spirits. It's another one.
Gotcha.
Um,
Cool. They're
Ye-
fun to deal with.
Yep, loads of fun.
Yep.
But what's not fun is that that's where uh the destruction dragon passed the first time,
Yeah.
uh or was destroyed or whatever. And there's a whole bunch of things about that that's just not real good. The fact that we're hearing about all this going on now and it overlaps with the ascension, I'd say it's creepy.
Um, they're not gonna let you out. I would like to talk to the Great Oak because we did say that we would bring back any info, and I am curious to see if those two have heard anything about my sister.
yeah, I agree. They were on my list of people to talk to as well.
Yeah.
I just
I
heard that they
didn't
drank, so I'd like to have a chat.
Yeah, that was the
I
idea.
didn't tell Kamishava about my plan to gather everyone here because she wouldn't particularly like it and would probably try to stop me.
Well,
That's
she
okay.
doesn't like much.
So, but I do think that the former brides might be one, I think they might agree with that plan, and two, they might be willing to help, get the word out, make sure people can come through without too much problem and all of that. So I definitely want to speak with them. Um, I also need to, well, part of, I don't know if I communicated all of this, but I need to try to convince some of the leaders, some members of the Ashen Elders to release those troops to the Scar of the World. Um, and those are bound to be some unpleasant conversations. But another thing I wanted to mention is I didn't tell Kamishava about the assassin um, being there because I felt like her response to that would have probably just been to kill everyone.
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but
The most practical solution is often the easiest one.
But
just chase
well,
everybody away.
I didn't know how we felt about that, or if that would just the assassin would escape and just scatter, and then everyone else would die.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: if
But
sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say she's taking the counsel of the voice of the Northern Wind on this, who
Mm-hmm.
is in charge of diplomacy for Bastion. So we could potentially meet with Dorvin Evish, that's their name, and tell them about the assassin.
I'm assuming that I know that name, and that saying that name is the equivalent of saying we can meet with the head of the KGB. And my immediate reaction is bad. Is that correct, Nate, or is this a more like subtle position?
I think from Alar's point of paranoia, that's probably what that sounds like.
Okay,
Honestly,
cool.
you know that it is the like head diplomat from Bastion. Um,
Henry Kissinger.
yeah, treated.
Mm,
I mean, not that evil. I don't know if anyone here is that evil, but like treated as somebody to be very careful around
gotcha.
when they have traveled to Loot.
Um. Okay.
They just might go about things in a subtler way that would, draw less attention, but maybe could single individuals out is the only reason I mention it. But
If
I,
Kamishava didn't bring these people here, then they
she didn't.
have to be aware of the possibility of Kamishava losing patience and just wiping them out. So they probably have a backup plan, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. If we want to lean on that and the idea of Kamishava just goes off the handle, that's fine. If you want to share, possible dangers with, your head of statecraft. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Um, if we talk to Callie, maybe we can get a little bit more info. At the very least, it means that those folks would be paid a bit more attention to by whoever Bastion has around here. Is there anything you want us to do outside of the church, since you can't leave? I can bring a letter to the Great Oak if there's anything or say whatever you specifically want said. I don't know if you want to try to send people from the church to bring Olena or anybody else who is a potential candidate here for you to talk to directly, or what your vibe is. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, I mean, that was my plan, was to send letters to set up meetings with all these people who I need to speak with.
Okay.
I have someone here who typically helps me with that, but if any, if you want to do that, I obviously like trust you to deliver those as well.
I'm happy for you to do it through normal channels if you think Kamishava is not going to block those. Like, the more normal this seems, if you want this to be above board, the more normal it seems, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if like your letters don't get through, we'd have a we have a point where that's a problem. Like, we know where to look to, like, okay, this is a problem. Someone is doing something here, kind of thing. So it's not necessarily a bad idea to go the normal way.
And also, I'm not going to say anything sensitive in the letters. It's literally just going to be to set up our physical meeting.
That's a good idea.
So that was my notion. And yeah, I have to talk to, like I said, I also have to talk to Olena's father and try to convince him to provide troops, which I don't picture going over especially well, but again, it might be helpful for you to be there, Mama, because he's someone else who could be responsible for hiring this circus, potentially.
Happy to help. Also, I tend to be fairly persuasive at times.
Ice is also an elf, so he might be more kindly to you than Kamishava was.
Well, anybody is more kindly to me than your mother, but let's be honest. Well, no, the Austrites. Well, actually, and my sister. So it's kind of a long list, actually. Your mom's fine.
Didn't you say that Kamishava was sending Ramanari to the Temple of the Moon?
Yes, she's definitely on the list of people that I wanted to get a message to speak to as soon as possible.
Doesn't Ramanari told us that she was going to tell Kamishava about being marked?
Yep.
And Kamishava is sending her away now?
It did seem curious, but I wanted to ask Ramanari about it instead of Kamishava.
Ramanari's probably back down in the main city, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Likely.
Well, but didn't your mother give you explicit directions that if there's anything that you need from Ramanari, you got to speak to her before she leaves?
Yes, she did.
So which direction trumps the other one?
Well, I think if I send a letter, she can come. She can come up, probably. I mean, I don't know how else. I want to wait to push this issue and leave until it's an emergency.
That's fair.
And for right now, it seems like I can operate from here as I can. So until it becomes an imminent problem, I would rather just not push it for now.
I understand.
Yeah, and you would.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, you would recognize that Kamishava kind of operates on the assumption that if there is a need, people will come to her, and kind of raised you to operate on that assumption. So it probably didn't even cross your mind that Kamishava might have meant for you to go down to Lower Bastion. Like, it is for Raminari to come to you if you summon her.
In that case, if we're gonna go talk to the Great Oak or try, you're gonna send those letters. We need to send a message to Callie or go get her. Derek, would you be able to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Split the party.
For the second time in a session.
We're gonna all get killed. All right.
Nope, just you guys. I've
The
got the
assassins are
heal
already in the
spells.
church. Tosha dies before we
There's
come
some
back.
heal.
So
Not
yeah,
much.
I would like to and this was something I was planning to do while they were traveling back up, so maybe some of these letters have already gone out, but I was going to send notes to like basically tell folks.
Did you want to get a list of the people that have been identified? Because I know you had mentioned that the previous session that one of your goals was to be getting a list of people who have been identified as having been marked from the church. Are you going to do that, or are you just going to send the people that you have specific things for?
Oh no, so this is a separate thing, sorry. This is specifically before I put out that all call to everyone. I want to send notes because before that happens, I'd like to talk to the former brides, Raminari, and Olena. So I'd like to talk to them before I put out that all call. So those are the letters that I would like to send now. Like, basically, like, I need to meet with you. I can't leave Upper Bastion. You know, please come at your earliest availability, blah, blah. And I think for Olena specifically, I want to try to find some place, since we grew up here as kids, I'm guessing that like we know some kind of secret alcoves or like places, you know, whether it's like in the archive or somewhere in the church where like no one really goes typically. So like not that it's like this is a locked room that's like secure for statecraft things, but just kind of like forgotten places where the guards don't really go, like just that kind of vibe, like a place
Where
where we
the
used
acolytes
to,
make out.
yeah, basically, like where we used to hang out as kids to do like secret kid stuff, but that you wouldn't really know it's there unless you like grew up here, basically. So I want to like kind of denote one of those places for us to meet, so that she's kind of tipped off, you know, that it's like a private secret conversation, but that no one else would really, you know, like I use a name for it that would only mean something between us, like that no one seeing it would really know what was being referenced.
Yeah, you mention on not the top floor that you can access from that spiral staircase, like the very top, it's like collapsed and you can kind of get through the doorway. That was actually where you all had kind of set up. But the floor beneath is considered unsafe and isn't used because some of the ceiling is falling in. But you know, there's actually a small maze of 7 or 8 rooms, and there's one of those that is. It seems like it's been blocked off, and that's because, or it seems like it's inaccessible. But you know that there's just like a loose brick that actually blocks part of the door, and you can move the brick and go in, and it's fully accessible. So you know you've got this like back room that you could mention and meet up in.
Great. Yeah, so I would like to send those out, and then in the meantime, I would like to get the list from the archive that we had discussed previous of all of those folks who have been marked, but I want to wait until I've had these strategic conversations first before calling everyone else in, essentially.
All right, you're able to get those messages out, and I kind of want to like we'll wrap with it on this note. So, Derek, you're getting Kelly to come back up. Just 8 hours of walking, back to back.
Can I try an idea? Are there heads still on the goblin people that got hit with the glyph?
Yeah.
Do I know? Can I identify either of the two?
You see one of your brothers. sausage roll, and another person from the band. I don't know. I've already used that word. Another one from the band that you recognize from your childhood.
We'll call him Groupie.
Sounds good. So you see those two in as you're kind of looking, similar to what Callie saw. They have tools, and yeah, they do look like mason's tools. It looks like they had come in to chisel away some more of the rocks from inside so that people didn't notice them doing it outside. But yeah, you do recognize two goblins from the band you were raised in.
Excellent. I animate dead, but I want pieces from each of the two of them in the center one, and I'm going to make groussage.
Excellent.
Where is
It's
your
just all
other guy?
hands.
Oh no!
All hands.
Oh
Just
no!
Hands in the head, hands for legs.
Where is your other guy? Where did
Well, I
you
can only
put him?
have. I think I can only have one at a time, so he's just like, I guess, mush right now.
Well, I think like when you recast it, you can control multiple, but I don't remember what happened to him.
I had to put him away because we couldn't take him into the.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have something I want to do before we leave the tiny hut, but I can wait till next game.
Okay. Tosha, when you get the list, as everybody's kind of like setting up, you've sent out some messages and you get the list, and you see on there Olena Mian, Antosha Crest, Fala Atrod, just one of the high family elves. One of your peers, someone who would have been, obviously being full elf, much older than you, but kind of a child as you were growing up as well. Pius Vester, who is a dragonborn, who serves as sort of an organizational lead with the Wall That Walks. Does a lot of their training and things like that, but actually isn't a member. Has been identified, and a name you've never seen before, Shiv Gravelslip. And it just says Goblin next to it.
Gravel sliver?
Gravel Slip.
Slip.
You notice Raminari's name's not on this list.
Interesting.
And we'll leave off with that, as next time we will continue the investigation as to what's going on, who has brought in these circuses, what ill intent is there, and what the hell is going on with these goblins stealing rocks and shit. We'll see next time. Same Mama channel, same... I did that in the wrong order. Same Mama time, same Lori channel.
Hey!
Deuces.
Bye!
Bye.